really strong. So here in the red, we've got Velez. Velez playing as the Britons. This was their very first pick on the Civ draft. Teamed alongside the Max, who's playing as the Huns here in the yellow. Max is going to be up against, well, it looks like their scouts are fighting. Dogao, who's playing Chinese, so that's the archer player. It's important to note. And then in the north, we're going to have Miguel, and Miguel's playing as the Franks. So we have the archer versus scout role in the north and the south. And we'll see what ends up happening here. And look at this, Max already towering. So upon seeing the enemy scout, he said, you know what? I'm going to tower that. Now, actually, the way it's set up currently in Age of Empires DE lobby games is your color fixes your position. So color yellow, color 4 is always going to be up against color 3. So I actually really don't like that. And we're going to see a potential villager kill here. Nice job from Dogao. I think that they should have a separate way of setting the position that isn't tied to colors. Because you don't have to scout to know that information, which is really annoying to me. What is happening here? That scout is getting so much damage on 1 HP. Max gets the tower up, but holy cow. You know, Miguel would come right over here with this pressure. I was very surprised to see that Max almost lost another villager. But yes, anyways, I really think instead of having team positions tied to colors, it should be a separate option. It would make things a little bit better, but this is not T90 rants time. My opinions on how to improve the game never happened. So here we go. We've got an interesting development on this side. Velez pushing forward with Spearman and an archer. And this was why Max had made a tower against Dogao, because he was worried that this would happen. So Miguel just happened to get the walls down. The scouts from Miguel unable to really break in, but you see, like, he would be off of gold, Max. It's actually weird how he stayed on gold, to be honest. But I think he's going to market and buy some food or something. Miguel got the walls down really early, hasn't lost a villager yet. And then here comes the Max. And yeah, Miguel really pulling everything. But there is, unless there's a tree there, there is a hole. And that should be clear as day for Miguel, and he noticed that. Yeah, so the scouts are not going to make it in. But the archers here, well, I guess they're just spearmen. I was going to say the archers could harass the woodlines, but I think Miguel will be fine. Miguel has a lot of scouts on the field right now. Like, a lot of scouts on the field. A lot more than Max. He's got 7. Max only has 3. And with Max's approach, I think what he's going to end up doing here is he's going to buy food. In Empire Wars, you start with vills on gold, but you don't really need gold to make scouts. So a lot of players will pull villagers off of gold. Like, Miguel only has 2 right now, but I think he just sent them back to gold. So, yeah, I was a little surprised to see him stay on gold. Pay attention to the market use from Max. Yeah, there. See? So basically, he doesn't invest into as many farms, but he then buys the food, so it kind of evens out. Plus, he gets the market, so we can see what his ally's doing. Not bad, not bad, not bad. George says, I think you can disable that option. Yeah, but they use fixed positions for the tournament, George. And my point is, if you're using fixed positions, you have to tie it to the color. So yeah, you can disable the option, but the option's always utilized in events. So I'm just saying that it would make sense to have a separate option that's not tied to color. That's all. King Boo is saying it has no effect. I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. Especially on some of these maps, King Boo. I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. Like on, Miguel is to defend this. And it's taking a lot, but he's going to defend this. I forget the name of the map. Cape of Storms. It definitely has an effect. Some of the other ones definitely has an effect. Max stonewalling here because his army's looking to break through. We're going to have the walls extend to the edge of the map. And, well, we'll see. Miguel's on the way up after producing a fair amount of scouts. He definitely hasn't had the easiest time with his eco, but it's also not the worst. Will be able to finish off these berries. Has plenty of his woodline working. Also hasn't even been forced into a tower as he makes a tower on his gold. All right, so better safe than sorry here for Miguel. Really is going to need the gold for the Knights. And Mr. Dogao has been relatively untouched at home. 3 ranges. Dogao's on the way up with a really good time. Velez hasn't clicked up yet. So all this aggression for Velez, there he goes. But I think the advantages are going to be for Heresy at the start of Castle Age in this game. All right. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm an opinionated character. I like to branch out on certain topics. I like to think that talking about these things can maybe spark greater conversation and maybe some change. And maybe I'm just naive in thinking that. I'm sorry to derail any of the chat, okay? We'll get back to the game here. I love how Velez is doing this. He's got 2 spears sitting right next to the archer because he knows that if it's just one archer, the scouts will come over and pick that off. It's super annoying. But Miguel's going to be getting upgrades for his units anyways because he's going to be making knights. So I think the scouts could probably deal with this soon. It'd be nice to be able to take out the spearmen and the archers before any upgrades come in Castle Age. Because, like, the scouts don't really matter long term, but the archers do. So that would be quite good for Miguel, but doesn't seem too interested in that. Here you've got Dogao, I think, running back. I think he's a little worried based on the uptimes of Max. Seems a little indecisive right now, truthfully. I like how he's got the spearmen back here. I think he's looking to see if maybe Velez will come over to his base. And Velez, I think, may be confusing Dogao by sending the spearmen over, but who knows if Dogao is really going to fall into that trap. If I had a red unit attacking my wall, I would assume it was scouting so the archers could come in. Oh, look at this. This is exactly what I was talking about. The knights and the scouts. The timing's perfect here for Miguel. He'll take out the spearmen. He will also take out the archers. This is huge. This is exactly what you want to do. This is Velez's or Suomi's very first pick on their Civ draft. And Britons are now behind. Not super far behind. You're still going to have the extra range. You still have the cheaper town centers. It's still probably the best archer civilization to have here in these team games. But Max might need a little bit of support over here. Dogao has quite a few expos. And, I mean, the tower's nice, but it still doesn't fully protect that gold. It's worth it to dive under here once you get ballistics to be able to get some Vil picks. Nice little reposition there from Max so he doesn't lose any Vils. And Dogao's just going to sit there for now as you see the support coming over here from Miguel. But here comes Velez. Dogao will have Thumb Ring and Ballistics. No Ballistics upgrade for Velez, and his Civ does not get Thumb Ring. They just have the extra range. And it's damage control now. And there's very little hesitation for Heresy. Look at what Ballistics did there. Villagers down, and Max pulled off of golds. But this is also right next to Max's stables. It's very close to Velez, so this could be a clear up for Suomi. They definitely have more units here. So let's see if Heresy's able to get more knights in here from Miguel and what Dogao's micro is going to be like. Because the lack of ballistics will be a factor here. See how many volleys Velez is missing? He's missed quite a few volleys. Dogao's, I mean, they'll take this, I think. Dogao's crossbow micro was just insane there. He killed a lot of units. And of course, they now have the momentum. He's still going to trade against a lot of knights. And Dogao's still microing away. Dogao, I said yesterday, was the best player out of the 4 that played in the 2v2 quarterfinal. I think there's arguments to be made that he could also be the best player in this one as well. Though I think Velez, maybe just changing that conversation a little bit. Tell me what you think, viewers. Who is the best player out of the 4 here in 2v2 situations? I think normally I'd say Velez. The timing on everything right now, maybe not making things look too good for him. But, yeah, I think it's Velez or Dogao, personally. Used to be Max. Max is arguably better than Miguel with the Knight roll, but, I mean, I think Miguel is extremely underrated. Miguel did a fantastic job with all that pressure compared to Max. Dogao's still microing away. Look at this! Is this Dogao or is this Leary? I thought Leary was playing in the other semifinal. Like, get out of here with your nerdiness, man. Just let your units die. Ooh, man, that not so good for Miguel. And we're going to see these knights run away. So let's get an eco update. We do have 3 TCs over here for Velez. Plus, he has that terrifying flank civ to work with. So 8 range. We have crossbows moving forward with, of course, 7 range for Dogao. He's actually behind in villagers and behind in numbers. Britain TCs are cheaper and their archery ranges produce faster on top of the extra range. It's really, really not easy to win against the Britons. Now, if I look at the economy layout, Dogao's floating a lot more food, so it's possible that maybe his Imperial Age time will be stronger or faster. And they're also applying a lot more pressure right now. And Max dropped this TC on the front here to kind of protect the gold situation. But I mean, more villagers are going down for Max. It does feel like Velez is going to have to carry this one. But at the same time, we might have another situation where Dogao and Miguel are going to lose a lot of their army if they stick around. So they run in, they're happy to get the kills, and now they're going to leave the area. And this is around the time. 65 villagers from the Knight player is around the time you start to see more stables. So let's see. We've got 3 stables already for Miguel. So actually, maybe we won't see any more. I see him adding the 3rd TC instead. I think you either go 2 stable opening and add the third and fourth stable at around 65 vils, 70 vils. That's at least the mark that I tend to notice anyways. Or you open 3 stables and you don't add the 4th one for a while. Now, thumb ring will matter here against the knights, right? Like, the firing speed is just insane for thumb ring crossbows. And there's, again, very little hesitation for Heresy. The military counts are very close, but the control is here for Heresy. And they continue to idle Max's gold eco as well. Max has to garrison the TC, and look at the difference in just how many knights Miguel's able to churn out here. Max is unable to get the knight numbers. He's trying, but when his gold is in jeopardy, he's not getting the production he needs, even with Huns. Having the 20% faster working stables, or is it 10%? I forget. Not enough. Dogal and Miguel just out for blood here and constantly pressuring the Max. This is the perfect start for them to this series. Guys, a town center without fletching does so little to armies. That was such a good move for them to dive under there. If you were diving under the archer player's town center, it'd be a little different because Velez already has ballistics and also the upgrades. So the stone walls are down. We see a stable as part of a wall, which is super lowy the legend-like for Max. And you see more units coming forward for Miguel, who again has insane economy. He has 74 villagers, tons of farms, even adding a 4th TC. He's going for a crazy boom here. We are going to see Imperial Age come in shortly for Dogal. Let's just make sure he doesn't forget a building here. Didn't forget the building. And wow, identical imp times between Dogal and Velez, as Velez is finally heading over to the Max. But guys, there's almost 20 knights for Miguel. He's got insane economy to keep producing them. And there's only 9 knights for Max. I think this would be the time for Heresy to start to shift back to defense. Kind of protect Miguel as Dogal's on the way to imp. And try and hit this army. Because Britons get even more terrifying in the next age when they get additional extra range. So I think this is the play for Velez and Max to go back and hide at Velez's base. Because they're foreseeing the fact they're going to be pounced on. Look at Miguel. He's like, where's the army? Where's the army? He's placing outposts. He's looking for it, looking for it. But I almost feel like if Heresy have the time and they notice what's happened here, they should immediately head over and kill the Max. But I don't know if they'll have the time because they've already moved this far over. And this is so smart from the Max. Look at this. So they're behind, but they're forcing some reactions from Heresy. And this is going to allow Velez to push forward. You see this? The reaction comes in. Miguel's expecting maybe the crossbows to come in as well, so he's asking Dogal to come over. Tricky, tricky stuff there from the Max, and that's going to give him time as well. Just getting his 3rd TC up, but it gives him time to get more knights out for his team and catch up in economy. So now, I mean, I'm looking at these numbers here, and just how do you compete? The reality is you really cannot compete with the production of Briton archers because their ranges produce faster. There's just no way. So you've got to have your knight player in a stronger position, which Heresy have. So often this game mode has been a race to Arbalest, though. Both Dogal and Velez will have Arbalest. Is this the identical time? Is this the same time? It's just ridiculous. 22:33 imp times for both players. Oh, God, dude. You just can't make that up. All those people out there who are like, I can't wait to try and improve and be the best. Just give up. I'm kidding. No, that's... Viper paid me to say that. He wants people to give up. He doesn't want competition. So I would say continue to try, but it's going to be really hard. Okay? Best of luck to you. All right, so Arb is in. Again, there is still a difference in that you don't have thumb ring if you're Britons, but now you're looking at 10 range against 8 range. So that's crazy. Plus, with all the damage output from your Arbs, the Knights don't really matter that much. Example A, as Max throws away all his Knights. Oh, man. And you know what? This is so good for Miguel. This is so good. Utilizing the Frank bonus of cheap castles. Dropping castles to defend from this is so important. Because look at this. We have a forward castle from Dogal, and he can actually threaten the Max. So if this castle and this castle go up, suddenly I think that Finlands are going to be questioning where they can hit and where they can do damage to Miguel. Miguel is going to lose a lot of vills here, but this is more than worth it. He's already 20 villagers ahead of the Max. Great job to commit everything here, and he'll garrison, and now this army can't move forward. Love that move from Miguel. And look, they now know they can go towards Max, and then suddenly Velez is going to be needed here. Otherwise, Max is going to die to this. Oh, there's nothing more frustrating than having all this army but not being able to go anywhere. Oh, God. Oh, God. Max is so dead. And now I guess Dogal's sending his arms to try and defend Miguel because Miguel could be next. Miguel hasn't clicked up, but yeah, this is brutal. What Velez is really going to need is some siege to push those castles. You have 103 villagers for Miguel. Granted, he might have some losses following this, but Max is down to 70. And Max is going to lose... I mean, he's losing access to gold. Losing the town center here. These villagers are fleeing because they understand what's happening. Now, at the same time, you have Miguel taking losses. I mean, this is inevitable. Miguel's on the way to Imp. So, this is a ridiculous little base trade scenario. We saw a similar game yesterday between Aftermath A and B. And Max is making a TC on a cliff. You can't even farm around that. Oh, at least there's some gold there. But geez, that sucks to see. And then this is the correct move from Miguel. By the way, his Imperial Age TC is right here. I've been keeping an eye on it. But he's just dropped the castle next to his town center. He's like, I need to make sure I block this off in whatever way possible. And he has tons of army remaining. So, I mean, if he's able to get Cavalier in, suddenly you have Cavalier and Arp. And, oh, Max. Max is probably microing his army. Max. There we go. Now he reacts. Now Velez is getting hit. But yeah, I think what's going to happen is Heresy is going to be more together as a team. That is if Velez and Max can be stopped here. I mean, there's still a lot of exposed eco. Miguel is now going to make another castle here. I mean, you've definitely... It's really tough to be able to afford more units and to afford upgrades if you're in Miguel's position. But it's even worse for Max. So, a 72 Arbalest now for Dogal. It's a 95 for Velez. Dogal is just going to protect the hill. Say goodbye to your knights, Max. Max runs away, but the castle's up, and Dogal can kind of fall back here. Now, interesting castle positions for Velez. He's trying to protect his side, and maybe allow Max some freedom to reboom, because that's essentially the situation Max is in. This is still the army that has to be dealt with. It will take Dogal time, or Miguel, excuse me, time to research the final armor and Cavalier. And Dogal doesn't really... Did I just say Dogal? I just combined Miguel. Dogal doesn't have any defensive castles in the back of his base, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you make castles in the back of your base? Oh, wait. It's because here they come. The direction you would have never expected. So yeah, extremely awkward stuff. Here you also have Dogal with... maybe he's trying to do too much. He's going to lose those arbs. I think he's probably just reacting to this crazy force. Says Miguel has 18 cav. It's not bad. Once you get to 25 or 30, suddenly that starts to look a little more menacing. But the upgrades are on the way for him. He still has a decent amount on food and a decent amount on gold. And actually, Dogal just sent him a lot of food. Okay, we have Chivalry on the way for Miguel, which will make his stables produce faster. And that will also increase the speed of any upgrades. So maybe he wants to click Paladin. He does have the resources for that. Max rebooming, but only at 41 villagers. And this is a doubt castle for Dogal. We will not have any doubt in the semifinals, but we're starting it off with doubt. And here are the Cavaliers. So this is what you start to do now as the Cav player. Paladin upgrade is going to come in really quickly. You start to pick off the small groups first. So you chip away at this group. Then this is the ultimate group you got to focus on long term. But you're waiting for your upgrades. You're producing more units. You start to raid a little bit, but you're just waiting for an opportunity where those small groups cannot meet up with the main group, and then you pounce on the main group. Ridiculous game, really. Like, the fact that the population is so similar is a testament to Velez's skill. I mean, Britain's as well. But holy crap, he's going to try and do it all here. The guy's trying to switch into Halb. I mean, you don't have the pop space for it, Velez. It's a lot of arbs right there. And I like how Max, as he's been quietly rebooming, also been moving his knights around. It's really important that there's a meat shield there. Also sending some knights over here. Max is about to be an imp. I think I missed it. Velez probably sent him some res. See Miguel. Miguel's going to try and town center. He's going to try and town center that gold. That's so greedy, dude. That's not going to work. And now what Heresy wants to do. Now we have paladins inside of the eco for Velez. But what The ultimate game plan is in the late game is to trade, right? So you need corner control, and neither team has their corner locked down. Like this corner and then also this corner. You can't run trade through there because of this. And then it's the same thing for Finland. They also cannot run trade through there. Yeah, guys, with the stable production speed and with the resources that Miguel seems to have, I really don't think that this is going to be good for this army. I mean, they're going to try their best here. But Paladin is Paladin, as I've so wisely said over the years. It's just too strong, man. Frank Paladin, 192 HP. It takes so long to be able to get kills. Max isn't even fighting. Max is literally just trying to dodge shots. But the Paladins, they're going to do an okay job. I think Max and Velez got okay value with this fight. But normally after a good value fight, I look to another area and say, well, because of that value fight, they're winning in this area. Where's that going to be? I think that's going to be here. I don't know about a victory, but we're going to have Halbs at least. Yeah, look at that. Yep, Arb's going down. Now you have 60 army, less than 60 army soon for Velez. And now his army is going to be comprised of melee units, which get countered by Dogal's Arbalest. And immediately after that, we saw Caravan. So Caravan meaning we're going to see some trade for Heresy. Look at Miguel's castle spot. He knows how important the corners are. Market going up. Castle here to protect things. We also see wall. Okay, those walls were there in Dark Age. Anyways, the point is, the position is better for Dogal and Miguel currently, as Max is still very far behind. And I guess this is the area now that Max and Velez are going to try and push. We have Cavalier in. We have Halb, which is the counter to Paladin. It also does not cost gold. But here comes the Arbalest. This is the thing. Trash units in team games, they don't work too well because there's always going to be gold units out there that counter it. So it's kind of a desperation move because Max is only at 60 pop. This TC is not going to complete for Miguel. It still cracks me up, though. And this TC is going to go down for Max. I mean, Dogal is now everywhere. 200 pop for him. And I expect a big old cleanup here for Heresy. They call it Suomi versus Brazil or call it Heresy versus Suomi. I don't care. The Heresy in this tournament, but the Brazilians start off the series with a statement, dude. With a statement. The very first pick on that Civ draft was Britons. They wanted Velez on Britons. Suomi got that, and they did not get the victory. That is a huge, huge win for Heresy. Now, this is not to say that Chinese and Franks were probably not high up on the draft. We'll look at that Civ draft in a second. Those are obviously insanely strong picks. I think overall it was a 50-50 matchup with the civilizations. But yeah, it was just a better early castle age for Heresy, and they were able to snowball that quite well. So eventually, Max having to reboom in the corner. Good job from Velez to try and recover. But I don't think Heresy was ever truly worried. I think once the castle started to go up for Miguel, they realized that he was going to be able to keep his eco alive. They knew they just had to weather that first storm, which they did. And then they'd be better off. And strong performance from them. I think that Heresy also big confidence players. I don't think Finland really care too much. I think they're going to treat each game for what it is, but that's going to boost their confidence there. Quick look at the statistics. We actually have time now because this is a live semifinal. There's the KD for you. Dogal didn't have the prettiest KD because he was outranged by Velez so frequently, but he also had a wonderful time against the Max, and Max with a horrible KD over there. Economically, you had Velez, lots of stone and wood, but you had Miguel somehow, after having to make all those castles, still having more food and more gold than anyone in that game, and then poor Max was just so far behind. GG. All right. Well, we gained a lot of viewers throughout that game, so welcome everyone. My salutes go out to you. Score is now 1-0 for Heresy. This is a best of seven, semifinal. Since we now have the time, we're going to go to the draft. So first, we'll head over to the map draft. Max is going to get to choose which map they play next. I guess Velez will have some say, but it will be Suomi's choice. They have Atacama, Riverbelt, and Forest Pond available. Now, you'll notice that there are actually three very different maps. Forest Pond, a little more wally with some water. Riverbelt, open with some water. And then Atacama, I guess technically there's water there. The screenshot doesn't show it, but anyways. Yeah, I'm excited to see which map they go for. As far as civs, let's look at the breakdown. So Huns was pick number 3. And then Britain's was pick number 1. See what I mean? Not the greatest start civ-wise. They prioritize those civs real early, and then you don't win with them. That could mean that they have quote-unquote weaker civs for future games. As for Heresy, Franks was pick number 3, and then you had Chinese not too far along down here as pick number 6. But yeah, those are the civs remaining for the teams throughout the rest of the best of 7. I expect Suomi to respond here. Bakalele, thank you for the tier 3 31 months. 31 months. One of my very few tier 3 subscribers, because that's crazy support. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of with someone in chat who just said that Huns maybe doesn't fit the 3rd pick all that much. That's a little tricky. I can agree with you to some extent. And maybe Huns isn't quite worth being that high if you're going to play them on Arabia. I don't know. I think Huns have a really good win rate in this tournament. It's a civ that's really good at flooding military, and they're really good. Did you hear that random character? I wish they would have removed these new noises, man. These random birds and whatever sound effects they recently added to the game. But yeah, anyways, I think Huns aren't bad. They just don't wow you as much as other civilizations, but they do the job. So guys, the other night, I was recording stuff for YouTube. And we're branching out the content now. I'm going to have basically a team. So the content's going to be a whole lot better on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys might not be able to make it to the streams all the time. YouTube content's going to be better than ever. And I recorded this intro for maybe the 10th time because I wanted to make sure I got it right. And then one of the new sound effects they added came in and was just like, "Row!" And I had to re-record the whole thing. And then I kept getting it wrong, dude. It was so frustrating. I actually made one of my weakest complaints to the devs, and I was like, can you make it so those sounds are optional? Because every time I try and record something, there's a random bird in the background. And the only response I got, because it was on Discord, the only response I got from everyone as part of that group was a bunch of Keck W's. So I don't think they're really going to take my suggestion seriously. But I asked them about it. I said, like, what's the deal after the most recent update? And they actually said that the sounds were always in the game, but there was a bug where they wouldn't all play, and they fixed that. And in my mind, I was like, well, thank you for having your priorities straight. I'm glad our sounds are now more accurate. You know, I was like, really? Come on. But anyways, it was a bug. They fixed it. I appreciate them for it. So Miguel playing as the Bulgarians here. He's going to be getting his blacksmith upgrades rather early. Already has, actually. So he has forging now because it's cheap with Bulgarians to get the blacksmith upgrades. Over here, you're going to have Dogal, surprise, surprise, going archers. Very close quarters against Velez going archers. That's going to be the theme here. I think Miguel will be going scouts and knights all day. Same with the Max, with maybe the exception of Forest Pond, which is a different map. Now, if you ever look at a Civ matchup and you're like, you know what? That's weird. Why is that Civ there? Why Turks? Well, it's because it's a best of 7 now. And you have to draft civs for it. So you're never going to have your most ideal civ in a spot. At least not for most of your games. As Miguel looking for the doinker. He tried to micro. Doink. Got him. Took some hits, though. Those scouts are pretty weak. So I think that Max will probably be in a better position long term. And this is what I mean. You see, he gets some hits and he doesn't kill a Vil, but his scouts are ready to fight another day. Scout HP is really important, and lots of pressure over here on Dogal's base. I noticed his second range was delayed. So he's down. Well, he's actually not down an archer. But some crazy micro stuff as the armies have yet to meet up from each team. Sometimes you're going to have that shift. Like, I could see Max coming over here soon, maybe. Well, some people said Velez is the best in this out of the 4 players here. Some people said Dogal is the best. We have to see who's going to outperform in this situation. Looks like Dogal is missing a lot of HP there. So I had said 2 weeks ago when casting Heresy that, I forget who they were playing at the time, but I said that Miguel was the most inconsistent player out of everyone who was there. And I didn't mean that to be real negative, right? I'm just saying that the level's so high, and if I had to pick someone who maybe lacked consistency at times this year, it would be Miguel. And I'm really good friends with Miguel, so I went to Miguel's stream to watch him play a couple days later. And people were snitching on me. I show up and people were in chat and they were like, hey, guess what T90 said about you, Miguel? Taking it totally out of context. And he was like, Tristan, did you say that? I was like, let me explain, man. Anyways, he's played really good today. I just feel like Velez and Max have had a significantly better opening in this game. I can't say stuff, dude. People just constantly looking for drama. Looking to ruin good friendships. How dare you? Yeah, I mean, this is now a big problem for Miguel as well. Like, Miguel, he needs to be at Dogal's side here. He needs to show up with additional scouts with additional upgrades. So, we'll see if Velez and Max will have confidence to maybe loop around all this, because that's where the gold is. I feel like it's just going to get to a point where maybe Miguel will have a little bit more than Max because Miguel's so close. Bloodlines and attack is going to be in for Max in about 40 seconds. Miguel already has those, so this could be the opportunity for the Brazilians to push back. Good pick off there from Dogal, and maybe this is where the confidence comes in. But Max is going to have his upgrade soon. Oh, man, this is a really close game. I noticed that Max has docked, and he's fishing, so that really helps his food income, and Miguel has not done that. And it's pretty uncommon for the scout player to not do that on this map based on what I've already seen. And that's going to help with scout production, of course. But Miguel, he's defended well so far from this. He expected it could happen. He started making some houses here. Has the tower on the gold. And here comes Dogal now to help Miguel. And then you have Velez who's clicked up to Castle Age. Dogal's going to be right behind him. Oh my god. These uptimes between these two players have been insane today. Now, I love Vietnamese in this tournament. I feel like they're not the best pick ever, but they're also underrated in many ways. If you're going to be going straight archers, having the extra HP is so nice. Of course, knowing where the enemy TC is as well is nice, and then their eco is really not bad. So, in general, I feel like Vietnamese are pretty underrated civilization. I'm not sure if viewers agree. But I think a lot of people's view on them is just because of their lack of flexibility. But if you want to just be doing one thing, Vietnamese are definitely one of the better civs out there. No docking in the middle, but there's no fish to gain, so that's why you don't see players do that. But, oh, man, Velez looking to run home here, as he probably should. And I think we're going to see Miguel and Dogal try and break through this gate. But good job from Velez. He's not allowing Dogal an opportunity to attack the gate because he'll always attack the units. He's like, hey, I'm going to attack you, and then if he were to realize the scouts were anywhere close to him, he would run back. And, yep, I think Max, it's not ideal, but I think he's simply buying his teammate time because they're thinking Velez will be in Castle Age faster. And they are thinking correct there. Also, what's this? Okay. Yeah, that's next lever right there. Don't attack the villagers, attack the farm. The villagers can never work if you take out their job. Max realized it, though. And I guess there was a spearman there to pick it off, but... Oh, this is fun. Okay, this is fun. Both the archer players hit the next stage, but it kind of looks to me like Miguel has more scouts on the field. Actually, I'm not so sure on that, but I think the HP for Max is pretty weak. Like, this is a half HP army against pretty much a full HP army for Miguel. The 20-second advantage for Velez to get the upgrades, plus Max has fish, and Miguel does not. Oh, man, Dogal's micro, though. That was just so sick. The confidence, man. And gonna save this crossbow as well. Kills the scout now. Backing away. Getting ballistics faster than Velez. What's going on there? I don't know why Velez doesn't have ballistics yet. Clearly doesn't have the resources. He's gonna have the university, surely. Yeah, he does. Also, the second armor upgrade is coming in for Dogal. So I think Dogal has just had the much better balance with things. To be later to ballistics is really poor here. And also, Max is going to be a minute later to the Castle Age than Miguel, and Miguel gets the cheaper blacksmith upgrades. That said, though, Turks do get light cav for free, so that's an upgrade that's going to matter a whole lot for the Max, and that might even things out there, but hey guys, Dogal's just looked really good. He's getting these tiny little pickoffs here or there against scouts or against crossbows, and all that stuff adds up. If they were to swing over to the Max right now, Max would straight up die. There's no way Max could stop this. But the thing is, if you do that, and here's Dogal with another army, Velez could go kill Dogal, so it's tricky. But I think the correct play for Heresy would be to go against the Max if they knew his castle age time was going to be later than Miguel's. The thing is, they do not know that. They can assume that he's clicked, but they do not know how far away he is. And so it's a little scary to get close to all these stables. Now, on the other side of things, of course, Suomi didn't know that Miguel was going to have such a big advantage here. So he's going to have light cap plus full armor before Max even gets light cap. And this archer range, because it's up against Saracens, is going to disintegrate. So you need some type of a reaction here if you are Velez. Also, Dogao getting more pickoffs up here, but now he's going to throw some units away. The score is telling me that Suomi's winning, but I think that's because of the fish and the water aspect. Like, there's a lot of docking here for Max, and water really boosts your score. I really think they're going to have tough times on land. Like, that's an interesting TC spot there for Velez. I guess he needs to protect the gold, and he's going to do it. You see the patrol from Dogao doesn't have a lot of support yet, and yeah, that's good for Velez. And again, Velez does have more crossbows now, so tricky. The Turk light cap do have extra armor against archers. So I guess if they were to fight the crossbows, things would be better. Look at this. You're seeing the dodging shots. Oh, Velez with the plays! Dogao should not be engaging here. I don't think so anyways. They're both trying to micro nerd out. Then we have the light cap engaging here. Looks like Max is going to win that fight. He has more units. There are more upgrades for Miguel. Really close game, but Suomi holding on to their eco lead and holding on to their military lead. Even though they are the ones being pressured. Kind of awkward here for Miguel. He's unable to get his knights in there to join the party. But I guess he could... Dogao says, I'm going to solve that problem. Let's just take out the archer range. And now that's one less archer range for Velez to work off of. Granted, he does have 3. I'm wondering if Max is going to... He's making some camels. I'm wondering if Max is going to send anything into Miguel's base. So right now, Miguel's going to try and get to this corner gold because that is so important here. And that is maybe part of the reason Max is focusing on water. You will need a lot of gold if you're going to be making knights. And the clock is maybe ticking there for Heresy to get there. I was very surprised to see Miguel didn't prioritize water at all in this game. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Look at him. He's trying to hide the transport. The guy's going to be out of gold pretty soon. So he's thinking ahead. Wow, man. This is a crazy game. Advantage to Suomi, though, in my opinion. But if this transport can make it over... I don't know what... I mean, Miguel's clearly distracted with other things right now. If he can get his transport over to that corner, this is a different situation. Let's see if Max patrolled this. I don't know if he's paying attention. There's more knights here from Miguel. He also has had those upgrades for a while here. Transport! Oh, the villagers hopped out of the transport. But Miguel, I think, needs to take the risk here. He's trying to make a demo raft. We also have the fight going on at the same time over here. Lots of crossbows for Dogao. Not as many for Velez all of a sudden. And Miguel is going for the mad dash to the corner. He's going to make it, guys. He's going to make it there. He should be able to get a TC on the gold. That's huge. Meanwhile, Max is probably free to transport to his corner. I'm not sure about Dogao doing that. But then again, Dogao's Saracen, so I guess you could start to sell wood and food with the market and get pretty good reward. Yep, there go the Vils. They will go for a TC. I'd say my concern right now for Suomi is just the lack of military in the middle. Dogao is going to melt more archery ranges if they don't address this. They need to address this. Yep, archery range will disappear. TC will go up eventually for Miguel. He had to deal with the wolf first. Water upgrades for Dogao, so he realizes how important that is. I'm not sure on the timing there. And it looks like that Max is a lot more military, but Max also has 7 fires and 1 spearman, so the number's a little deceiving there. Though he does still have more than Miguel on land currently. Miguel was probably distracted. Maybe he didn't even realize that he had this gold here. I don't know. He's pretty late to that. And Max and Velez maybe looking to pounce on this army to tie it up here. TC will, of course, melt. So, Saracens showing their power. You see all this selling there from Dogao? He must be running out of gold, or he must be... Yeah, he's almost out of gold. But Saracens get more in return when they sell things, so... That all makes sense. And, oh, there's so many knights here for the Max, guys! Miguel doesn't have them out of knights here. This is going to be great for Suomi. Yes, there's going to be gold income in the corner for Miguel, but there will also be gold income in the corners for Suomi if they want it. Great job from the Max here. 76 eco. And he has definitely stepped it up a notch compared to game number 1. Say goodbye to your lead now, Heresy. That was brutal. I think they were excited to push forward. They felt as though they could do damage there, and they just call it. And yet, truthfully, kind of feels over from there. I think what happened for Miguel is he just straight up ran out of gold, guys. Like, he does have the gold tier, and maybe it was a mistake to not be here. Maybe he didn't realize until it was too late. But he didn't have the gold income. Max made a lot of light cav, which didn't cost a lot of gold, and then started to use his gold now. He's got a lot more gold remaining. And Velez, he kind of did his thing just holding on, right? Also, with Max having some water presence, that would have made it more difficult for Dogal to get more crossbows out. Because if you prioritize the crossbow upgrades, you're not going to have the water control, and then you can't comfortably... Well, he's here, but you can't comfortably control the seas. Ultimately, right now, as it stands, after the resign, 19 military against 68. So, yeah, there's just... Someone dies over the next 30 seconds. Heresy know that. They call the GG, and the score is now 1-1. That was a good game, though. The only thing which was a little weird, and clearly it was a strategy choice, was to not have the scout player go for a dock, because I've seen that every other time. Dogal collected more gold and wood. That led to him having more crossbows. But the food eco was way better for Max, and I think that's because of the fish. So, that and also Max collecting more gold. Turks benefiting there, maybe, with the gold mining upgrade. Or not really gold mining upgrade. They just mine gold faster. Close semifinal so far. All right. So, everybody, we have 2 semifinals planned for the day. We have this one right now. Thank you for crossing 7K viewers. That's nuts. Pat yourselves on the back. Say, we're awesome, or I'm awesome in chat. Or just lurk. That's fine. Score 1-1 now between Heresy and Suomi. Another best of 7 semi will come up after this. But since there's confusion and people are getting in at different times, I am going to be the bearer of bad news. So you know what's coming. So long story short, yesterday, Gamer Legion A beat Vietnam B 3-2 to make it into a semi. Okay? With less than 24 hours notice, they then contacted, so like less than 24 hours ago, they then said they could not play today and they would not be available to play today. And since the start of the tournament, it was scheduled for the games to be today. And then they could not contact the players and really get responses from them. GL basically said, well, we realize this is a mistake on our part. We'll accept whatever admin decision is made, blah, blah, blah. And so the decision was made to give Vietnam B the semifinal because Vietnam B were 1 game away and Vietnam B were available to play when, you know, the games are supposed to be played. So that's kind of how it goes. Just so you know, the semifinal number 2 will be Aftermath B. So Hera and Leary against Bad Boy and Song Song. That's why you guys know that now you guys know ahead of time. And if you want to read more about it, you want to read the full decision from the admins, you can use the Y command. So, I think that explanation is pretty simple, right? I think that explanation worked out. Let me just back away here. Also, you know how we talked about the audio in Age of Empires? For some reason, after players resign, there's a lot of like wind and wave noises on water maps. And I don't know if it's because I don't hear the wind and water when there's death, or if it actually gets louder after players resign. I don't know if you guys hear that stuff, but anyways, we'll prep for game number 3 here. And we'll now move on to a home map for Heresy. It was a really good game there. I've loved the semifinal so far. And we'll just cross off the map we just saw. Of course, we saw Riverbelt. So victory there for the Max and Velez. I mean, any of these maps could be chosen here. I feel like Heresy, they love Golden Pit, but maybe it's not one that you pull out of your hat just yet. I think you go Cape of Storms here. As for the civs, I'm going to keep track of this all day today. Vietnamese victory for the Max and Velez. And they also had Turks. For Heresy, they had Bulgarians pretty high up and Saracens pretty high up and didn't get the victory there. So fairly even in terms of the strength of the civilizations remaining. Elvenor, that sounds like a fun time there. Yeah, I think for GL, basically, it was a mix-up with their travel. And so it wasn't like an intentional thing from them, but obviously pretty bad that you can't make it to a semifinal when all the information's been posted for a long time, right? But it happens. The reason the draft title says the Max versus Heresy is because Max is so good, obviously, that he could 1v2. He just decided to let Velez play today just to make Velez feel better about himself. Leo says, are these games not recorded? Question mark. The reason we have such delays in between games and you have to listen to my little side shenanigans is because it's live. So these games are currently live. The other semifinal is played at the same time, though. So the other semifinal after this will be recorded games. That way, the winning semifinalists have the same amount of rest available for the final, which will be later today. All right. So it seems as though, and I was being sarcastic, of course, about the draft saying the Max. It seems as though Heresy agree with me. We have Dogao playing forward Incas. He's going to be going archers. Surprise, surprise. Miguel behind us. He's going to be going scouts. Surprise, surprise. And I just heard a villager die. Miguel just lost a villager to an elephant. Not a very good start for him. That must have been because he was distracted. Kind of awkward to lure in elephants and boars and whatnot in Empire Wars. So ripperoni to her. 3 ranges for Velez. He's Cuman's on the front, and then Max is behind all this with Mongols, already taking advantage of the hunt bonus Mongols have. We're going to see scouts and archers flooding the map. For Cuman's, their ranges are cheaper now. And that's why a lot of teams have been picking them. It's just so they can get more archer ranges. Not really, and great archer civ. It's just, since this game is all about feudal age and castle age aggression, it's about fielding as much as possible. All right, the elephant. They got some revenge. The elephant's been brought in. But Miguel, that's going to get in your head a little bit. You've got a really good civ here. Magyars is probably way better than Mongols in this position. Getting the cheap scouts and the extra attack is important, and that's going to set you back. Miguel paying attention. Did scout the 3 ranges. That's probably something they expected. And we got 3 ranges for Dogao just a little bit later. What's super nice about Incas is since Empire Wars gives you a lot of houses at the start, and Incas have extra pop space to their houses, you don't really need to invest wood into houses for a while. So you can afford this 3rd range faster than most civs could. So I really like that. Some people saying we're going to 7 games in this one. Kind of feels like it to me as well. Both teams have showed up today. Game 1 was a very close competitive game that went to Heresy, and I'd say the same about Game 2. Even though the game wasn't as long, games never really go on as long in the previous map. And games usually don't go on too long in this one either. I don't think I've ever seen a Cape of Storms game in this tournament go to the Imperial Age. Usually it's small differences. How many archers do you have? What's your micro like? How many scout upgrades are in? Miguel's going to have fully upgraded scouts in a moment. The problem is for Max, he's getting upgrades as fast as he can afford it, but because he didn't get 1 upgrade for free, he's always going to be 1 upgrade behind. So this would probably be the time for Dogao and Miguel to start trying to take some engagements. And you can see the confidence now as they push forward. These archers grunt a lot when they fire. They're like, "Urgh!" It's a tiny little bow. I don't know how strenuous that is. I could see longbows struggling a little bit, you know? Not sure about these tiny little archers, but they're not the buffest little guys, so... Good micro so far from Velez. Max is now 40 seconds away from being on par with upgrades with Miguel. The numbers are pretty similar there as well, as Dogao gets a pick off, which is important because he's been behind slightly in archer numbers due to the faster archer ranges for Velez. Velez even adding archer range number 4 right now. It's literally the reason crossbow got invented. Pulling bows is hard AF. I'm sure that's what they said. Sire, I believe pulling this bow is hard AF, and it will be tough for our military to take proper engagements. What should we do? Well, we should invent something else. That was the exact conversation we saw back in the day, I'm sure. I'm just waiting for one team to commit, but it seems like both teams are having a lot of respect for each other. Dogao is going to be the first one to Castle Age, though, so this is more so Heresy realizing, maybe we threaten them, we scare them, and then we wait. And we have patience. Then we don't have to pull our arms back as far. It won't be as hard AF. Now, Miguel is doing the right thing, and he's maintaining his production of scouts. Of course, his scouts are cheaper, and maybe they will actually choose to take a fight. It almost seems like this is a fake. Are they actually diving here? Yeah, they're diving. And some really good hits as well for Team Heresy. Oh, man, this is incredible. Not only are they going to have the space, where if they need to fall back, they'll have that time, which will be crucial for Dogao to get to crossbow. But they've taken some really good hits off of the scouts and also the archers from Team Finland. Now, you look at this fight based on everything with no micro. It's going to be a slight victory for Heresy. Or, sorry, not Heresy. What I meant to say was Suomi, but yeah. I mean, ever so slight, and this is what I mean. Now you have the time to back away and wait for those upgrades, if you want to. It was kind of a weird throwaway for Dogao, but it's not like the Eagle and the Spearman really offer much right now. Yep, you fall back because they're going to dive on you the second you get your upgrades. You start to fall back. You start to fall back. Just make sure you have the space to fall back. And Velez is being 2 minutes behind is definitely not something they expected here. Just incredible macro from Dogao. That's insane. With all this pressure, the fact that you can perform pretty much like this is Arabia is impressive to me. Think back to game 1, Velez and Dogao carried their teams. They played really well with their archer role. Game 2, maybe Dogao did get a little bit outplayed. I think more than anything, Max just had a beastly game, and now Dogao looking to show up here. Crossbow's in. And this pressure can swing right over to Max at any time. Like, good luck with this. Velez wants to keep his numbers alive, sure. But this pressure could go directly over to the Max. Max has a lot of unprotected eco. And also, the race to ballistics is always really important. It's not just about these upgrades. That's going to come in eventually for Velez. But ballistics takes a lot of time. You have to make the university. That was probably not the best fight for Miguel, but you have to get the university up, click the upgrade, and that's already coming in for Dogao. I like to see Miguel just stick alongside Dogao. There's no reason to be tempted to move anywhere else right now. So I think what you don't want is you don't want Dogao to be on his own if these scouts come to town to try and take out this crossbow. A crossbow group, of course. There's more crossbows over here. There's more scouts over here from Miguel. I mean, Miguel's doing a good job to split off some units. Like this, that's really smart thinking. But the core of his military's here. He's going to take out that villager. Doink! She dead. And you had Velez on this gold ahead of time, which is really good preemptive thinking, truthfully. But now those villagers can't collect gold. That tower for Max, I mean, if they wanted to attack that, that would just disappear. I think this next attack is going to be really interesting because Dogao is obviously making more and more units. And then so is Miguel. So they could go right to Velez as Velez has to pull his army back to save Max. And Max is now running away. I mean, what more can you really do? This is looking pretty over if you ask me. I mean, the military count's still okay for Velez. But I expect it to get worse for his eco pretty soon. Also, Max, of course, is pretty far behind Miguel. At least he should be, but Max has done a better job with some of the stats here I'm seeing. Miguel, though, is clicked up to Castle Age. Max cannot say the same, and Max has been running around with half of his economy, so... Pretty snowbally map, guys. It's all about out-executioning your opponent. Heresy are looking good. They are in the driver's seat right now, that's for sure. Kuman Palisades do have a little bit more HP, so this will buy Velez time to react to this, but... Now you've got 2 minutes till Miguel gets the attack upgrades for free, and we'll have Light Kevin Knights. Not looking too hot right now for Suomi. Did I say executioning? I meant... Sorry, I'm... Wrong game. Wrong game. I'm pretty sure I said executing, but... Execution. Death. They could maybe clear this. No ballistics yet for Velez. So probably not. We got a tower now. It would be very impressive for Suomi to be able to come back from this. It's just nonstop pressure. It's all you have to do on this map. And Empire Wars in general, as I've said many, many times, overall, less strategy, a lot more about your APM, a lot more about unit creation and unit movement. For those aggressive players out there and those viewers that love aggression, this is the game mode for you, right? And there are maps that kind of add more strategy, like Hidden Treasures we might see. I think there's a bit more strategy there for these settings. This map, you kind of know exactly what you're going to get. And Velez, of course, tried to go for the additional ranges. Additional ranges didn't do enough, and we have the GG called. This is this is a live game, sorry, so we don't get to see the GGs anymore, but a very good game there for Heresy. I can't say anything more except wow from Dogal. I mean, didn't even try, didn't even make many palisade walls. Base is completely open, and Dogal says, haha, they're never going to get to my base because I'm just going to play the game better than them. Like, straight up. The opponent started with more archer ranges. He somehow ended up with more military units. Ended that game with 60 crossbows. Had more crossbows than he had villagers. And had more military alone than the entire team combined. That was ridiculous. Of course, Miguel also accompanied him well. Did have a shaky start there, losing his villager. He probably won't tell Dogal about that until later. And Miguel would have really pushed his victory home with the Knights. So great job, Heresy. Score 2-1. We have ourselves a back-and-forth semifinal. Exactly what you like to see, ladies and gents. All right. Didn't he do archer armor so he could click up faster? Oh, Dre says he didn't do archer armor so he could click up faster. Dre, your mindset is correct to focus on specific things, but there was a 2-minute gap, right? So a 2-minute gap does not translate to someone not spending 100 food on armor and then being up faster, right? It could have been maybe 10 seconds faster, maybe 25 seconds faster. But when you have that much eco, I don't think armor really made the 2-minute difference there. I think it's just had a better balance of how many villagers are building things, how many farmers there were, and how much hunt was taken. And that's very highly specific things, and I would have to break down their builds, which I don't have time to do. So, all right, a score will be updated here now. That way you know. And Suomi is going to be, let's see, if I had to guess, I think they're going to go to Atacama. This is what the home map situation looks like, everybody. So we've got Suomi with Atacama and Forest Pond remaining. Cape of Storms was a victory for Heresy. You can see the importance of the home maps already. As for the civs, we'll just quickly cross this off. Magyar victory for Heresy and Inca victory. Where's Incas? There you go. For Finland, they, of course, lost. You had Cumans. Cumans was kind of middle of the pack, so not really too frustrating. Mongols, higher up there. I don't know. Is anyone else kind of underwhelmed with the Mongol pick on that map? I feel like I'd be okay with the Mongol pick for that map if it was picked further down. It bothers me that Mongols is prioritized so highly because I feel like, I mean, the hunt bonus is nice, but I'm not really sure the hunt bonus is strong enough on that map where you ultimately rely on fish and farms. Nobody picking poles? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think poles are really that strong in general, but especially in Empire Wars. I think poles would be better in standard format. I know there's a lot of pole fans out there. And by that, I don't mean people who dance on poles. I mean fans of the pole civilization. And I just don't think the Civ is that great for Empire Wars. Also, it's kind of new, right? And so I think people haven't quite figured them out yet as well. A very common thing for high-level Age of Empires is for people to not branch out and try new civs until they see other people having success with them. Doubt once called Aftermath the copycat kids because his team would come up with strategies, and then Hera, Leary, MBL, Nikov would just try and perfect the strategies they came up with. It's one of my favorite Doubt quotes ever. He probably regrets saying that because I remind people that he said that so many times, but it's how it goes. You figure out how the game could and should be played, and then you adapt to it. Lithuanians also are just not that strong in Empire Wars because they don't give them additional food. Like Persians, they also don't get plus 50 wood and plus 50 food when starting in Empire Wars. So the bonuses are not even the same as standard RM. It's a polarizing topic. Minus 7K in chat. Thank you, Sven Dog. Hey, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I appreciate the support. So sure, I'll read your name. Mike Hardick, thank you for the 10 months. Thank you, Tony Soprano's Pool Ducks for the 13 months. Yo, I haven't seen you here in so long. I've actually been rewatching The Sopranos. So Tony Soprano's Pool Ducks, great to have you back. Bass Brammer, thank you for the 21 months. Thank you, Elvinor, for the 19 earlier. Thank you, Hyperion, Warbot, Gabib. Okay, new sub. I can't say their name. This is bad. Ghibli Panda. Is it like a silent H? Ghibli? Yeah, Ghibli Panda, thank you. Please don't leave. Giganak, thank you. What's up, Robert and Cobbs? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Game 4 is going to be starting right about shortly here. I don't know about now because it is live and there's a slight delay. You're the third streamer in a week to mention The Sopranos. I guess I'm watching it now. It's a classic, man. It's a classic. It's not for everybody. But, you know, if you want to dedicate yourself to a new show, I would recommend The Sopranos. It's not my favorite show ever, but it's definitely up there. It is an older show, so you have to go into that recognizing it's from a different time, okay? So the next game will be on Forest Pond. Are you ready to hear the civs? We will have Byzantines and Spanish for Suomi, and we will have Koreans and Persians for Heresy. We've seen a lot of Koreans and a lot of Spanish on Forest Pond because you have the walls. You can try and go to stone and then drop castles. I guess saying that The Sopranos is an old show is kind of weird when we're watching Age of Empires. When did that show come out? Late 90s, right? I could be wrong on the timeline. I mean, we're all old farts watching an old game right now, so maybe that show would be better for you guys. Yeah, it's about the same time frame. Yo, Father, thank you for the tier 3 2 years. And says Drush incoming, calling it now. A Drush? What? No way. No way we're going to see a Drush. Have you learned anything in those 2 years? Thank you. A special salute goes out to Father Trace, too, because Father Trace also sponsored a Hidden Cup in the past and helped out with the prize pool. So when times were a little bit smaller and more support was needed, Father's always been there. So thanks. In the blue, we've got... whoa, Villagers forward for Miguel? What? In the blue, we've got Miguel playing as Persians. He's opening with the dock and going forward. Also, this villager has gold in his hands, which I find really weird. Normally, you'd want to drop off the gold. But bringing a spearman forward, Velez is scouting this. Velez is Byzantine, so Velez is like, what are you doing here with Persians? Dogao is Koreans in the north. You then have Max is Spanish in the north. And yeah, I think this is going to be some type of a... Oh! All right. We're going to have full Stonewall here from Miguel. That's interesting. Over on this side, Dogao also going for early Stonewalls. You know what this is, guys? I think this is a counter to what you commonly see on this map, which is a castle drop. Because what tends to happen is players will focus on the water, and they'll get so tunnel vision on the water that people will come forward and castle drop them. Especially Spanish. Max is Spanish. So I think that Max and Velez might assume some type of forward to counter that. But in reality, all we're going to see here is a little bit of map control with Stonewalls. So I kind of like that. Now, the problem is your villagers have gone forward. And in this case, at least Velez knows exactly what's happening. We'll see if Velez will keep the scout alive. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're really going to do anything to try and stop these walls. We have some annoyance from Velez, and Velez is also sending a villager. I think this is just because Dogao and Miguel want to try and win water. Yupe in chat. Wow, it's a while since I've seen Yupe. What's up, my friends? I hope you've been dropping TCs, IRL, and having a good time. It's been a while since I've seen you and Rubenstock around. But of course you are here to root on your teammates, your friends, Max and Velez, I'm sure. So double dock for Max. And it seems like there's just a whole lot of docking here. This is a slight mistake for Velez. Velez needs to pull back and repair that one, and we're going to see a lot of fire galleys and a lot of demos. Woo! Oh my god, I'm thrilled. Oh, it's so exciting. Fire, burning fire. Wow. Oh, I'm so... Sorry, I don't really enjoy the fire galley meta. Let's repair our ship. Oh, yeah, let's hit it with a hammer. This is so fun. Listen, I'm going to sound like a boomer when I say this, but Galley Micro in Feudal Age was a better era for Water Age of Empires. If you agree, type 1. If you disagree, type 2. The Feudal Age, at least, was, in my opinion, more entertaining. But I will admit that I'm a boomer. And I will admit the water meta is more balanced now. It's just in close quarters, fires are the way to go. And I like to complain every now and then, you know? Now, this is cheeky from Dogal. Dogal is just going to keep this villager here and say, no gold for you. I'm just going to wall that up. Could honestly wall this one up as well. Dogal only on one dock, by the way. So, I mean, Dogal's on stone. We could see Dogal walk through this wall and build a castle. Ooh, here comes a demo. Boom. Okay, not the best demo ever. Max's turn to try with the demo. Okay, never mind. No demo. This is really hard to cast, people. Split. Well, very attentive from all the players here. Very attentive from Max not to explode his demo. Good micro from Dogal and Miguel. So that was finally a good demo. All right, this is going to go back and get repaired. That's 1 HP, though. That should be snagged. Well, good job from Max to be able to repair that one. So far, it feels like Suomi are out executing, right? They're on the way to Castle Age faster. They also seem to be a little bit ahead on water. This villager is going to be annoying for Max. Max isn't doing anything on land, though. So I guess their goal is still to try and win water first. We'll see Miguel on the way up. He'll be the last one to Castle Age. Miguel's Persians, so it's really hard to take Persians off of water. You know what I'd like to see from Miguel is delete one of these palisades and walk out here and dock. This would be a really good dock position. There's also 2 fishing ships for Velez. So they've been winning water, but he also has been benefiting from it. And 3 fishing ships for Max. So I feel like all the villager time getting sent forward is kind of, you know, just not the best for Heresy. Now, this is funny. Max just tried to town center this gold. And Max is going to town center it anyways. But there's no gold there. Or, I mean, sorry, the gold is clearly there, but you can't really take it. And now we have this being walled in. And Max still cannot see that. So, I mean, eventually that's going to be a big pain. So I feel like in some ways... What the... Miguel, are you taking wolves to your teammate right now? Why are you sending wolves this direction? All right. Well, they do call Miguel the wolf whisperer in Brazil. I'm sure many people didn't know that. Here comes Velez to try and win water. The tough thing is, Persian docks have double the HP. So it is really hard to engage against Persian docks without demos popping out and ruining your day. So I think Miguel will be fine there. And he deleted... I'm pretty sure he deleted the spearman. Okay, this is really close to a lot of gold. I'm going to keep an eye on this, and we'll see if we get some woo-woo-woo action. Now, check this out. Dogal's walled in this gold and walled in this gold. Can see that Max is town-centered here because of the vision from the walls. And now Max can see that the castle's coming up for Dogal. This is almost like a little bait here. A little switch. A little bait and switch for the Brazilians. I mean, Max was probably correct to assume that this would just be defensive play for Dogal, but nope. Enjoy a castle on your face, buddy. That TC is going to go down pretty quick. And we could see some war wagons to follow it up. Now, Velez and Max are just beasting it up on water, though. That's the problem for Heresy. There's not even a dock for Dogal. And so Miguel's going to have to fight back on water for his team. And he's just so far behind. So he's investing into an area where he's already struggling. Here he's trying to get a pick off and then a repair. Well, pretty good. Don't ask me how she's hitting the ship with that hammer. But she is. Wow. Oh my god. I'm so excited. Oh, we got 2 people repairing. 3 people repairing. The micro. The skill. Oh! Well, actually, good job from Velez there. Velez ends up saving one of these ships. And I think Miguel's going to have a pushback on water. And now this is where it gets tricky with Max. Because Max looks like he's converted a wagon. So that was a good response to make some monks here. But, you know, if he starts to get hit on water, he can't do anything about it. No way. Okay, I was going to say, Max should get that conversion there. And guys, Max has converted the first 2 wagons. Over here, you've got a wagon hitting some vills. This villager's still running around. We're going to name him Jim. Jim the Builder. He's the replacement of Bob once Bob got fired for not showing up to work on time. Well, we got the fire galleys backing away. Okay, this could be a big one. Velez is also trying to boom right now. Let's see. Ooh, that was a good one because it hit all 3 ships. And this is what I mean. You start to get a little distracted. What I really like for Heresy right now is that they both seem to have one very simple role. Dogao is boom and pressure on land. And then Miguel is boom and pressure on water. Whereas Velez, I guess he kind of has one role as well. But, like, Max is distracted, right? He got hit on water. He also has to react on land, as we see another demo. Oh, the best demo of the game so far. Now, this is where Velez will show up with a demo of his own, usually, and just respond. So, I mean, Velez has done a really good job. 68 villagers right now. It's also cheaper for Velez to go up to the Imperial Age with Byzantines. All right. So more booms, less repairs, which is nice. Everything's happening a whole lot faster now. What's going on over here? We have a wolf attacking a wagon. Okay. Jim is... Did Jim get converted? Oh, no, here's Jim. Okay, Jim is over here. Max has Spearman, though, and Jim is about to go down. Jim got a little greedy here. See, Jim's been working overtime to try and pay for a new house. Yeah. And they're offering him the hours. So he's like, yo, can I work at the other location? You're like, yeah, go do it. And then it's like, okay, we forgot to tell you. There's Spearman there. So, rip. Great job here from Velez. I'm still really liking how Velez is playing this. And I mean, it's also not bad for Miguel. Fortunately for him, Persian TCs do work faster. So it does help him recover with the Vil count, but I mean, has not been able to take out Velez's fishing ships. And then for the Max, this TC is finally going to go down. But Max already has Redemption. So he has Redemption Monks. We'll now drop a castle here. I think Max is looking in decent shape. Max is going to need gold, though, to go Imp. The fact that this is walled in is actually really annoying for him. But he can convert the wagons. He can convert the siege. This push is no longer a problem for him. And yeah, we have Imp now for Velez. I'd like to see Velez drop a castle here. Start to think about shooting down these walls. There's random wagons over here attacking a monk for Velez. That's annoying. Dogal's done a really good job of being annoying, but I don't know if annoying is going to do too much. Wagons over here, kind of blocking off that corner. I think Max maybe wanted to wall it. Maybe wanted to make some outposts out there. And we got more fire v fire action. Miguel's still pretty far. Actually, very far away from him. He's at 18 on food only. Does have a lot on wood, but just needs to transition that into farms. See what I mean? Like, I know islands also isn't popular with some people. I actually appreciate islands. At least on islands, you can see different units and transporting, but like... Oh, wow. Okay, that was exciting. Woo. It really just isn't the most exciting aspect of our game. It's always back and forth, right? You win a fight with a demo, and then you get close to someone else's docks, and then you get demoed yourself. It's just a never-ending cycle, dude. Ooh, unique tech here. Inquisition. Wow, I was wondering if we were going to see that because no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Nice stuff from the Max. That means that Spanish convert faster, and that will be helpful with what's out here. You've still got some mangoes. You've still got some wagons. Whoa, Dogal's going to go Hussar? Now, this is interesting. Guys, Koreans have, I think, still the worst Hussar in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. They don't have the worst Cav in the game, but I think out of all the civs that get Hussar, they have the worst Hussar. They do not get Bloodlines. They do not get the final armor. They also do not get the final attack. But Dogal's worried about the monks, so he's going to make that. While we have Max thinking about making the counter to Hussars already in the Pointy Boys. Yeah, Malay Cav is bad, but Malay don't get Hussars. So Korean Hussars, I think, the worst in the game. That said, it's not like it's... The thing is, it's not like it's a bad move against monks, you know? So he still wants to make the wagons. He needs to take care of the monks. And wow, Miguel has a lot in water right now. Seems like Max is trying to help. I don't know where this came from. Actually, no, he was on the shoreline for a while. If anything, it's surprising he wasn't out here in the first place. Is it really worth it to continue to vest in water at this point? I mean, there's not even that much fish remaining for Velez. I feel like Velez will be fine with this. We have a ram here. We've got Halbs. Miguel hasn't even clicked up to the next age, guys. And he's going to now go full fat slob. Stone wall! Just wall up. Making another layer. That's going to make the eco a whole lot worse as well. Over here you have the light cav coming in. But this is something that Max is pretty prepared for. The only thing that is awkward for the Max is simply the fact that that castle is being trebbed down right now. Now, in order to convert trebuchets with redemption monks, you have to get to the base of the trebuchets. So it's not as easy. Also, losing track there of the pikeman was the Max. That was pretty sloppy there. But he took out a treb at least. Inquisition monks convert so quick. You don't even have a chance to resist God. You're just like, well, okay, I guess I'm religious now. I mean, it is really fast. And here we have a castle for Velez. I like the position. Because this castle secures a position which will pay for the next castle. I like the Rams as well. Miguel could actually lose these houses and then get pop capped. That's a struggle. I just think Suomi, they had a strategy. Dogal and Miguel, I guess in some ways their walls worked, but I just think they fell too far behind, and it's now about holding on against the crazy push of Finland. Now, this is successful for Dogal so far, and it's also an easy map to drag the game on for a while. By the way, the wolves are still over here. I'll keep you updated. Skirmishers are okay against wagons. They're not great, but they're not bad either. Max doesn't really have the gold to waste, and isn't even spending a lot of gold, as he has to ram down these walls. But we have trade already. Spanish trade, 114 gold per trip. That's crazy. Despite that, though, I mean, Max losing some monks to the trebs, losing this position a little bit. The light cav showing up. I mean, Dogal's really pushing him. Those are expensive monks right there. And if you lose this position, you then lose the trade you've just invested into. So I'm not too sure about that, but we'll see if they can hold it. Certainly, Miguel is kind of dead. I mean, he hasn't clicked up to Imp. It looks like he forgot a second building because he has the resources for it. I don't know. Miguel! Go up to Imp! There we go. He's clicked up to Imp finally. The wolves now kill this villager. Actually, I think the wolves killed two. Woo, woo, woo. Well, that's brutal for him. He's probably hearing updates that Dogal's doing good on the other side. So Miguel just has to not die. And then hopefully Max will die to Dogal. One of the best traits you can have as a team game player, and I know this is really hard to get excited about when you're playing with randoms online, but one of the best traits you can have as a team game player is dying slower than the other people out there. And I'm not even joking. That's a serious thing. Because there's so many times in team games where you start to fall behind. But if you can hold your side just a little bit longer, as Miguel's trying to play Fat Slob games here, then maybe it'll be okay. The problem is, if you're playing with random people in team games, your instinct is to be like, team, where's my team? And like, help me, you know? Very few people are excited about trying to die slower. That's not an exciting prospect. That's me. I play full defense. Don't die on flank all the time. Well, congratulations. I like the idea of Mangonels behind the walls. Does anyone know if Persians get fortified wall? Dogal's doing a great job over here. This trade is not going to work out for Suomi, at least not yet. I can't help but feel like Max should have gone for something other than trash units. But I can also see why he had faith in the units he was going for a while. Yeah, Persian's not getting fortified wall doesn't surprise me considering we haven't seen it yet. You would think Miguel would have clicked that, so... I mean, he's done a successful job to hold on. He was very late to Imp. He's going to go for his own Halbs. I think he'll be okay. And look at this. Velez is going to try and help out now. Now, Halbs do a ton of damage to wagons. Max has a decent amount on food and wood. So just as Dokal had pushed forward here and was confident about the position's going to be pushed back now, and the position's going to be lost. The trade continues to run. The wagons got chewed up. They're not a very cheap unit. I think Dokal really needs to make something more. That or get more upgrades. That or get some support in front. Funnily enough, it would actually make a lot of sense for Miguel to add barracks over here, but I think he's too distracted right now. He's got a good Vil count. But guys, the trade gold is so good when you have Spanish on your team. Having Spanish on this map and Treasure Island is just such a big bonus for you. Is it still 33% more trade? Sorry, there's been so many changes over the years. It's either that or 25%. Oh god, the Trebs! Oh, the poor defenseless Trebs. Oh, okay, so it's 25% now. Yeah, it was changed at some point. I knew that. Cool. So, anyways, it's still insane. It's still helpful. And Dokal just lost 4 or 5 Trebs over the last couple minutes. That's not so good. We now have Arbalest for Velez. So that's a straight counter to what Miguel was making, which was Halbs. We have Trebs and we have Bombard Cannons that will probably start to push Miguel's castle. Very tricky for Miguel to know what to do right now. He doesn't have access to the stone and gold that was here. He doesn't have access to his main golds. He doesn't have a counter to Arb and Halb. In fact, Persians in general just don't. Typically, you want to just go full Paladin. But when people are ahead of you like this, and you're able to force these 1v1 engagements, the Arb Halb is very, very difficult when you're behind. When you're ahead, you can just throw Paladins in there, no problem. Man, these pointy boys. Can we get some boys in chat? Those that have the emotes, we don't use that emote too frequently. I feel like it's been very cost-effective to hold the position. Not too bad. But this castle's going to stop the trade. Now check this out. Max has deleted the market, so the trade will stop here. I'd like to see Max build markets in the southern corner now. Looks like Velez canceled that castle, because Miguel has a lot of Trebs here, so that was a good idea. Maybe Miguel will be able to get Paladin anyway. I don't know. For the last 20 minutes, Finland have had 3 corners, which means they're going to have the better trade. But now we see Elite War Wagon for Dokal. Is it possible that there's just so many wagons that this can't be stopped by trash? I'd say the critical mass of wagons is 40. I talked about wagons on the YouTube channel last night. Tanky units are tough. There's 3,000 potential HP in this entire army. And again, Halbs are fairly cheap. We are going to have some help, I imagine, from Velez, though I could be wrong on that. Oh, the Rams on the Trebs again, man! The tankiness of Rams. So tough to stop, man. That Siege Ram just zoomed in. Finished off a Trebuchet or 2. Also soaked up all that fire as Miguel's losing the position. Yeah, he needs his own Bombard Cannons. Miguel is dying really fast here. But Dogal's like, don't resign. Do not resign. We're stopping them from trading efficiently. So yeah, Max and Miguel are playing this game of who will die the slowest. And I want to say the person who will die the slowest is the Max. But I feel like wagons are harder to stop than Arbalest and Halb. So this is really tricky. Did I just see Elite Cataphract? Oh god. Okay, opinion changes. If Elite Cataphract storms into Miguel's base, I don't see how he stops that. He won't have a single castle. Halbs won't cut it. It all just depends on numbers. Gel and Max struggling with their food count, though. It's tricky. And here come the wagons. They're just going to run right in here. Also, Miguel did send some support this way. You now have some hand cannons here from Dokal. Ultimately, he needs to protect his siege, though, so he's going to back up. Team populations are very similar right now. Heresy has a little lead. See if Velez is going to be able to justify Elite Cataphract. It is really expensive. And that is a lot of Bombard Cannons for Miguel. Can he hold this? Can he get some big hits in on the Arbs? What's tricky here is expanding your farming eco. You need to start adding more farms and sending villagers to different areas. If you do that, you can conceivably make more Halbs. And the Bombard Cannons are wrecking the Arbs right now. Velez does have a lot of resources. He chooses to dive the Bombard Cannons. Wow, I don't think that's worth it. Well, it depends how many he gets. He's killed 2. I don't know about that. Now he's going to lose his own bomber cannon. And what is happening? Heresy are actually winning this game. Max is so low on gold, guys. He was never able to take this gold. He was barely able to take this gold. The work that Jim did earlier in this game is working. And now we have trade going this way, which I think should have happened a little earlier for Suomi, but that's a good move. Miguel's going to start to push back. Miguel's starting to add markets. We also have the markets for Dogal, so we will see trade there. And this Forest Pond map has really delivered some grindy games, right? The type of games where it's just a slow, grueling push. At least it's what we experienced yesterday. Max's pop is really not good compared to Miguel's. Only 140. I still feel like he can get his eco up and rolling. There's space to do that, but I feel like if more siege continues to come forward from Dogal, he's going to be losing grounds more than he's expanding. He did get supremacy, so now his villagers will be more armored, but that just... I don't think he's going to want to use them in the fight when he only has 95. We have Cavalier, and we also have Halbs and Bomber Cannons pushing back this position. Kind of tough for Miguel because he doesn't have a lot of gold income. Pretty much all of his gold, I think, should be put into the trade. And he's doing that. So, he'll probably end up having... Yeah, he's going to have to fall back temporarily here. Wait for that trade to kick in. But these wagons, man. There's so many wagons. This is ridiculous. Okay, chat. Little trivia question for you. Shout out to one of my best friends named Jackson. Who is the artist that came out with the song Wagon Wheel? Wagon Wheel is his favorite song. Who is the artist that had that song? Oh, God. The amount of people saying Darius Rucker. Guys, so that's his favorite song, and Darius Rucker has a wonderful cover of that song. And it bothers him greatly when people say Darius Rucker because it is Old Crow Medicine Show. And I don't blame you, as you see Arbs going down to Bomber Cannons. I really don't blame you for instinctively saying Darius Rucker. But I can't wait to clip this and send it to him because thousands of people just tilted him. That's what true friendship is, I think. Well, we gotta push back here from the Max. He doesn't know what to make. This is like AI army comp here. Just tossing away skirmishers, hussars, and halbs. Honestly, feel like it should work pretty well against wagons if the wagons don't have any support. Miguel's gonna try and get barracks down here. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Miguel losing a lot of bomber cannons and could lose the trebs as well. This is a messy game. And the populations could not be any closer right now. 350 total population for both teams. The military and the eco is also pretty similar. I mean, yes, you have that trade bonus for Spanish, but you also have, I'd say, 40% of the map if you're Finland, compared to the 60% of the map for Heresy. But that could easily change. Miguel just lost 5 bomber cannons and 5 trebs over the last 30 seconds. And now you have Max with the gold income to go Paladin. Look at the amount on gold right now for Max and Velez. That's trade. Primarily trade with the Spanish bonus. And Max is like... Max is going to break down that wall to TC there for some reason. Yeah, so I think Dogal is going to need to push a little bit faster here. And it might be tough for Dogal in a moment, because if Paladin shows up with the Halbs and Hussars, I'm not so sure that the wagons can hold that. The problem with the wagon-style unit is that you hit and run, okay? So, you know, you do damage, you kill a lot of things, but you're not holding a position. Whereas a constant stream of melee units means you hold that position, even if you lose more units, if that makes sense. He lost only... Oh, okay, he took 2 back. Okay, cool. He only lost 2 trebs. Thank you for telling me, Sherlock. And that's not sarcasm. The person's name was actually Sherlock. Ooh. Is this castle going to stay up? Funnily enough, it's researching hoardings. Nope. Okay, I was going to say hoardings would help. That is a lot of paladins. And there's no pointy boys here. I mean, there just seems to be more resources for Finland. The trade is officially kicked in now. Finally, Max is going to be streaming gold units forward. We talked about this yesterday. What you can do with Spanish and trade situations. Just hold with trash units like Hussars. In this case, he had Halbs and Skirms as well. And wow. This could lead to a big shift in this game. Over here, Miguel still can't really afford gold units of his own. He's up against Arbs and Halbs, which has continued to be a problem. Max is going to push this entire thing back. It's just because of the trade, right? That's why you want to push the Spanish. That's why you want to take away the corners. But Miguel lost so much ground in the south. Velez and Max shifted there, which is so smart. And now I think we're going to see... Well, the thing is, we don't have to see Elite Cataphract right now for Velez. But that would be the perfect thing to mix in now. He's got castles here. If he had a few Cataphracts... Actually, he pretty much just needs Rams, truthfully. Cataphracts would be pretty dope, but... He's already destroying. Persians have crappy skirmishers. Their halbs aren't even fully upgraded, so I mean... Wait, am I correct on that? Okay, their halbs are fully upgraded, like I said, but... you just need gold units. And the trade was just a little too late for Heresy. Which is probably so disappointing, because it looked like they almost had this game. You see Paladin in here. You start to get Siege Ram mixed into the equation. The enemy adds Halbs. I don't think you even need to worry with this much trade. Look at how many Paladins are in queue for Max. That is insane. Max, if you count the queue and the Paladins on the field right now, will be at 80 Paladins soon enough. He doesn't care. And he has the gold to pay for it as well because of the trade. So even if they die, you'll still have 180 HP units running into the field. I used to, when I first started playing this game in multiplayer, I used to play a lot of Black Forest because I loved the Spanish trade. And I used to think that it was so cool that I could upgrade all my Spanish units without having to spend gold in the blacksmith upgrades. I loved Spanish because I thought it was amazing, and it is. They don't have to spend gold on blacksmith upgrades. Later on, I started to play 1v1s, and I realized Spanish had, you know, some weak points in their game. Whoa! Whoa! What the? How long has this villager been here? What the? No way, dude! If they don't notice this... If they don't notice this and Max and Velez lose trade for even a couple minutes, this could be a big problem. I didn't notice this. One villager was here. We've got skirmishers. We've got rams. Oh, dude, it's such a shame it's not Siege Ram. Siege Ram would have taken everything out so much faster. And I think that Velez has noticed this now as we see a Cataphract and it's an Elite Cataphract. But holy cow, talk about being patient. How did that villager ever get there? Over here, you have Miguel needing to defend his base. We even have Dogal here with some wagons. Siege Ram, though, still proving to be a very strong unit. And I guess Max isn't pushing back here yet. There are a lot of halbs, but I still expect that to be a possibility for him. Really strong play from Miguel. I kind of want to know how long that was there, but I can't go back right now. So maybe it reminds me, guys. We'll go back after this and just see how long it was there. They must be desperate, though, because if he were to move out without Siege Ram, that tells me that they think they're dying. And I've kind of felt like they were dying, so it makes sense. Miguel he had so much eco here. So many buildings here. He's had to relocate so many times. He's got eco all up in Dogal's business right now. And Velez just continues to fortify these areas, making it hard to push back. And, oh, the Trebs! Not the Trebs! Oh, rip to the Trebs! Yeah, and it'll be rip to the castle. And I think rip to Heresy here. We're going to have a 2-2 semifinal. There's no way you stop this now. Again, like I said before, the Paladins can be continuously spammed on this side. So that's going to mean they hold here at the very least. Cataphracts moving in here would make things even more difficult for Miguel. Make things even more difficult for Dogal. And they're just so far behind with resource income right now. This is getting cleared up now. The trade has continued. And now it's back to like 50, maybe 55% control of the map for the Max and for Velez. Plus they have the Spanish trade. I just think they have the stronger units. Now, if Miguel was making a bunch of Paladin consistently, I'd start to change my tune a little bit. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that right now, guys. He's actually pop capped. He does not have houses. So he needs to make more houses so he has more pop space for stuff. Yeah, that threat got dealt with there. Now, there are a lot of pointy boys over here, which is a little tricky when you're Spanish because you don't really want to make anything other than just Paladins. If you make Conquistadors, Halbs are actually still pretty good against that, and you don't want to make Skirms because Skirms are good against enemy Paladins. And also, Skirms die to enemy Paladins. They also die to the Siege. Is Heresy holding this? I mean, if they take out this castle, maybe there is a chance. The trade is just back here. I still think Miguel is dead, guys. Elite Cataphracts with Halbs, it just kills Miguel. Miguel will never have the time or the space to reboom. Maybe like 20 hand cannons alongside some Paladins would be good. But like I said before, I think Max can just make more Paladins. He'll be fine. He'll hold. Paladins always beat a Halb in a 1v1 situation. The guy has 1,600 gold with Spanish trade. This is the beginning of the end for Heresy as you see the Cataphracts running into that trade. Miguel is reboomed to the north. Miguel has 25 on food, 26 on wood, and Miguel doesn't have space or production, and they're going to lose trade, right? So, I mean, even if Miguel had 100 farmers right now, what does that do for their trade? Unfortunately, I just don't think it's possible. But what a game, man. Like, I thought that both teams were dead at one point or would die at one point. Great game from Velez, though. Velez was beating Miguel on water. He held to it. He then pushed through Miguel's walls multiple times. Max maybe a little shaky. But, and I expect Heresy to play on here. See some hand cannons for the Max now, for those wondering. Back over here, that's good addition. But Max just has to hold this area as Velez is stomping everything. He runs into Dogal's eco now. I think Max just transported some Paladinos here, and I guess it's a little faster. We also had a cannon galleon coming out. But yeah, GG. At this point, no way back. Heresy simply do not have the bonuses they need. And it was just Velez's constant, never-ending pressure on Miguel. I'm trying to think about this a little bit. Do you remember when Dogal was pushing forward initially in the Imperial Age? And he placed a couple keep foundations, and he had 5 trebs, and it almost looked like he wasn't going to be stopped. Then he lost all that siege, and he couldn't place the towers. I think if that doesn't happen, if Dogal doesn't lose that momentum, maybe Max and Velez never have the time to get that trade running. I could be wrong. Okay, you guys want to see how long that villager was there? Let's go back. Hopefully my game doesn't crash. Okay, what am I doing? Let's see. Let's go back. This is where we saw the Vill. Let's go to 40 minutes. See if the Vill was there. I could just see my game crashing. Scores 2-2. Let's try and jump back. What? Oh my day. Well, wait a second. So she was just building houses there that entire time? I could have sworn, though, that it was a male villager that was there. Maybe he got another villager over there somehow. Anyways, ultimately, it didn't end up being that important. Yeah, okay, it was her. There she goes, building up the full base. Crazy stuff. Well, it didn't work out. It wasn't enough. And Suomi, again, responding with a home map victory. Guys, this is what you've seen over the years with really close teams. Take a look at this. As I update the score to 2-2. Score's 2-2 now. Look at the home map situation so far. So game 1 was Arabia. And ever since Arabia, every team has won on their home map. So now we go to Heresy's home map. This is I don't want to say it's the rarest thing, but it is pretty crazy to see. Every home map has been a victory. It'll be Kawasan or Golden Pit for Heresy. And then as for the civs, well, we have no Spanish for Finland anymore. We have no Byzantines for them anymore. Then you had Koreans. Korean loss for Heresy. And Persian loss for Heresy. So now we can speculate on civs a little bit. Let's just assume the next one is Kawasan. I think we could easily see civs like Italians, Maybe civs like Malay, civs like Malians for Heresy. As for Finland, maybe a civ like Japanese would be strong there because of the water bonuses. Maybe Japanese go archers. Maybe you go Burgundians or Teutons on land. I'm not sure. It's a tricky one. But I'll let you know when I do know, as we'll be starting shortly. And thank you so much, Vapor Trail. Vapor Trail, that's too much. 50-some months subbed. And thank you. Thank you for the kind message. If you're ever in Houston, you've got a friend here to show you around. Yo, Vapor Trail, I'd like to at some point, when the world settles down, I would really like to have some meetups, both in the U.S. and in Europe. So I hope 2022 is the year that I meet a lot of you guys. Get to play some Age with you at a meetup and drink some beers or something. So thank you, Monolith, for 17. Thank you, Gertil, for the 37. We also had Wandering Knight AoE with a new sub. D Mansour, thank you. D90, why did no one pick Magyars? They did. Heresy already won with Magyars. I think that was game 2, or maybe game 3, actually. I hope 2022 is the year that you can cam a lot on streams. Sexy mustache in all caps. Yeah, you, my friend, are the reason why I don't show my mustache on stream. But thanks, I guess. That wasn't weird at all. Yo, Deleted, thank you for the 5 months. Thanks for the subs today, guys. Appreciate you appreciating me and watching the games. I think this is going to 7 games at this point. Like, I cannot see how a single team here can win 2 games straight based on what we've seen so far. Am I crazy to think that, chat? Or are you guys on board with me? I think that, I don't know, that's where I'm at. Game 5 will be on one of those 2 maps I mentioned. I have not heard which yet. I could maybe try and join, actually. We're not join the game room. That'd be awkward. I shouldn't message Miguel on Steam. Yo, Miguel! I know you're playing a really important tournament, but my viewers really want to know what map you're going to go for. That would be rude. That would be rude. Well, so far in their lobby, it says Arabia, so they must not have picked yet. This is live, currently. Told you before, young man, prepare for shaving that mustache. It's going to get weird. I don't even know what to say to that. Young man, I'm 28. I'll take that. All right, it's called Update Time with T90 for what is happening today. We have 2 semifinals. Oh my God, lower the legend. Okay, gonna finish my thought. Deep breath. Composure. Okay, so the plan today is 2 semifinals, best of 7s, and then afterwards, a live final, okay? Both semifinals are played simultaneously. This one we stream live. The second one is streamed as recorded games. Of course, not spoilered. The reason for that is so the winning semifinalists will have similar amount of time to rest for the final, okay? Now, yesterday, Gamer Legion A, Jordan, Nili, and Tato won 3-2 against Vietnam in the quarterfinals to advance to the semifinals. And then yesterday, around this time, actually, so like 24 hours ago, they then said, we cannot play on Sunday at all. Which was weird for the admins and really tough for the admins. I feel bad for them because ever since the very beginning of this tournament's announcement, the time that you would have to play the semis and the finals was announced. When you sign up for the tournament, you sign up to be there for the tournament. They had to make a decision. And they're also like, we weren't getting responses from Gamer Legion, things like that. I think they were traveling. And so Gamer Legion received an admin loss. And it's a little different than your standard admin loss. They then basically were treated as the losing quarterfinalists. And Vietnam B, who lost 3-2 to Gamer Legion A in the quarters, will play in the semis today. Does that make sense? If you want to read the full situation, we have a command from, or not a command. Well, we have a Y command, but we also have it posted by Rbase in chat. So, anyways, it sucks. I spoke to Lidacor about it because he was like, what would you do? And I kind of gave my input on it. But the fact that Vietnam B they didn't even win, and yet they're like, yeah, we can make it. We can prioritize this tournament. we can make it. We can play. We want to compete. And Gamer Legion wasn't able to make that happen. I think it's a good decision. Because it's either you just give Hera and Leary a free pass to the finals, and they don't even play a semi. That sucks. Or you give Vietnam a chance, and I think they should. So, thank you, T90 Camelot, for the $5 donation, and said, no pun intended, no sir, none at all. Okay, this would not be the time to spam T90 Creep in chat. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but we move on from here. It's unfortunate, but we move on from here. Thank you, Javi, for the 5 gifted. Yo, Lawler, thank you again for all the gifted subs. And there's been many a gifted subs over the last year or two. So, Game 5 is on Kawasan. I was on the subreddit last night, and there was a whole thread about how people think that high-level aged players are sleeping on the Bohemians. Let's see if that's the case. Let's see. Or wait, no. Why did I say Bohemians? I meant to say Sicilians. Let's see how Sicilians fare here. We have Sicilians for Miguel. Miguel teamed up with Dogao, of course. Dogao is the Malay, but he meant to pick Magyard. Up against Dogao is Burgundians for the Max, and I believe I called this for Finland's pick. Maybe I didn't, but I really like these civs here for Finland. Burgundians, especially with the Max, who's a crazy boomer, very strong. As more subs come in, thank you, everyone. We will have this semi, we'll have the next semi, and then the final today. So, lots of games. Of course, hello to anyone else who watches the rerun later on. It's been a fun day today. Pleasure to cast this as we see a tower. Now, this is very common against someone who's going to go Archer Spear against you. So you have Dogao already planning on going forward with Spearman. You see this? He's making 1 Spearman in defense, and I think he's going to go forward with 2 Archers, 1 Spearman forward. Actually, what's unique about that is he scouted the tower, and that's like the only immediate area he could hit, so he decided against it. Oh, Miguel with a strong start here, and doink, gets a villager there. Could actually get 2 from this, guys. Now, will sacrifice 2 scouts in the process, but getting 2 kills. Doink, she dead. Or he dead, or they dead. They're dead. That was huge. The problem with that is, you now sacrifice a little bit of army control. I would agree, the new Sicilian Cavalier tech is no joke. I think Sicilians have bothered me ever since they came into the game, and I really don't like how the devs added that tech. But, we're not going to talk about that. I do think that tech is broken. So if it gets there and we see the unique tech for the Sicilian Cavalier, I do think it's broken. Very strong. What is it, like Halberg? How? I don't know how to say it. Chat will help me, but it's just tough to get to that point, right? Normally so much stuff happens before then. But I'm really liking the amount of aggression we're seeing from Dogao and Miguel so far this game. Look at Max having to react to keep 2 archers out. Loses the scout there. I mean, even if nothing dies here, this is a lot of harassment and a lot of eco-idle time for the Max. Not to mention just the cost of the houses. Also doesn't have... What the... He doesn't have anything going on underneath his TC. This is horrible. Max. Not gonna lie to you guys, when I see this many idle villagers at a high level, my first instinct is to think that someone disconnected. But he probably just thought he still had sheep there. And yeah, that's brutal. So, I mean, Dogao sent very little forward there. I'm sure he's going to be so happy to be able to pass that information along to his buddy. We also see Dogao going over here to dock for some fish, which we have also seen from Velez. Got the scouts in the middle for Miguel. Very late to his wood upgrade, I have to say. But did he get his farm upgrade? Ah, you know what? Like, that's actually pretty smart with the Sicilians because they have more food on each farm. So you don't have to refresh your farms as fast. So it's kind of like a wood bonus in a way. So you can only afford to get the wood or the farm upgrade at the start in Empire Wars if you also want to produce scouts. So Miguel opted to go and adapt a little bit and go more towards what would work for his civ. I like that. 5 scouts here for Miguel, teamed up with his teammate. I think what it was for Max was maybe he wanted the greedy approach of researching all of his Castle Age unique techs now, but actually he didn't do that yet. Is TC's idle? I'm really confused. This has been a disaster of a game for Max, truthfully. And I don't think it's going to get any better for him. He's just clicked up. One villager will go down. Oh, and Miguel's going to block. 2 down for the max. And more could go down as well. Miguel seems pretty safe. Miguel loving life. All the Sicilian fans in chat also very happy to see that things are working out so far. I think Sicilians are probably a bit better in 1v1s than they are in team games. Which I wouldn't have said... I honestly would not have said that in the past. The recent changes have changed my mind on that. The thing that makes Sicilians really strong is the fact that counter units don't work as well against Sicilians. So if you're making archers and someone makes skirms, it's not as effective. If you're making knights and someone makes pikemen, it's not as effective. And you just don't see a lot of those units in team games. So I think for that reason, I wouldn't rate Sicilians all that high in these situations. But when you have to play a best of 7 2v2 and there's a lot of civs picked and drafted, you're going to end up with some civs that aren't quite as good as the others. That's just how it goes. And let's see. We're going to have stables for Miguel. Now, what's tricky is, and I actually talked to someone about this recently at a high level. Since you now start with 300 stone as the Sicilians, what players like to do at times with their market is more possible with Sicilians. So you sell all that stone and then buy food to have a good castle age time. And in this case, the castle age time is going to be pretty good for Miguel, but not as good as the Max's. Max has basically gone greedy mode. He has paid for it. But with his fish, I'm sure he's going to be loving life, and he's going to be going for Cavalier and Castle Age. So it was shaky from the Max, but his eco's looking pretty good at the moment. We have Crossbow in for Dogao. He doesn't really seem to know where to go just yet. And here comes Velez to go help out the Max. How many ranges do we have here? 3 ranges for Velez, so fairly standard stuff for flank play. And then you're going to have Miguel dive in here with the scouts. Kind of weird to see a demo here from Max, truthfully. I feel like that's something you'd see from Viper in a rated game. You know? But like... Oh, as the micro here from Dogao is so good. Wow. Wow, dude. Look how many shots he dodged there. He's allowed the scouts and his spearmen to get so many hits as well. Dang, what a clear up that was. I don't think they ever should have killed that many crossbows. And even the spearman was close to killing one there. But yeah, the demo is a little weird, but not the biggest deal. Not the biggest expense either. We still haven't seen Max click Cavalier. So Civ does not get Bloodlines. But they can get Cavalier in the Castle Age. Trying to check the stables here. Okay, just able to click the Cavalier upgrade. So he's got 3 stables working right now. I don't know, guys. We've looked at the Max's base a lot, so maybe I'm coming off as slightly nitpicky. Now Miguel's TC is idle, so I guess I'm just picking the bad times to look at the players. But by Max's high standards, I have been a little shocked at how bad some of the eco has been and some of the adjustments have been in this game. Fatigue is definitely a thing when you have to play 7 games with these settings. So maybe fatigue's starting to set in for both players. I don't know. All right. You've got Dogao, who has done so well today with the eco lead. He advances faster to every age. And guys, he's going to do something that's ridiculously bold. He's going to try Fast Imp. Now, it's Empire Wars. You're not going to see a 13-minute clicked Imp in any other game mode, really. But he's going to try and get to Arbalest. This is insane to me. Now, what's crazy about this, too, is he actually clicks up at a time where he has better eco than everyone else. So when you only have 1 TC and you're not creating any more vills from it, typically you're like, oh no, I'm going to be behind in villagers. But it's not going to be that bad. Fast Imp elephants. Fast Imp elephants. He can't afford elephants. Even the cheap elephants. That wouldn't be the play here. What you want to do is you want to max out on your potential. Get Bracer, get Arbalest, and make a lot of archers. He is behind in numbers right now, though. And so, you know, there's kind of a trade-off there where you don't have the resources to produce as many archers as the Portuguese player, especially because the Portuguese player has cheaper archers. All right, we have the Knights backing away from Miguel. He, of course, is going to be in full support mode. I notice he is on stone, but I think he's pretty far away from a potential castle. Very strong Castle Age military right now for Max and Velez. Also, a lot of presence on the map. So it's going to be a lot about if Dogao can get the proper numbers of units out. Right now, he's kind of outnumbered, but he will have the much superior force. Monk there goes for a conversion, then backs away to heal up. And yeah, Finland just need to control the game from here, I think. If they can continue to threaten Miguel, then they will force reactions from the enemy. Attack Miguel, maybe send some units over and hit the archer ranges because Dogao's going to have a few units there. I'd like to see Max patrol that way. Yeah, you do not want to fight where Dogao and Miguel want you to fight. Easier said than done, because if you hit an area where that doesn't threaten them, like this here, if Miguel had this stone walled, then I think what happens is they go forward. You see this? They're going to go forward now. So now your army could be seen as out of position in some ways. Now this is where this gets tricky. And now you have Velez on the way to Imp. Monk there, doesn't get a conversion. And it looks like Miguel really wants those relics. I think Miguel needs to bring his knights over here, and they just start taking out Velez's buildings. Velez being 3 minutes from Imp, that is a long time for him. Here he comes with crossbows to try and engage this. He can't get anywhere close to this. Now, they do have the other army coming back, but can they even fight that? That TC is going to melt so quickly. The crossbows inside are going to die, and that's actually more important than villagers at this point. You need army in the next stage. Good job from Miguel, leaving some of his units on the town center and the rest to chase down the crossbows. This army is just lost with no purpose in life right now. Oh, God. And now the knights should dive here. I think you just continue to dive if you're Miguel. I'm surprised that he's not sending in more units with his teammate. Okay, villager down. We'll see crossbow down. Boom, dead. We also see Arbs going this way. Max has to deal with that pretty soon. This is the Imp TC. Is there a chance this TC goes down? Oh my God. That TC is a goner. Velez will not make it to the Imperial Age. This is crazy. If he made it to Imp, they'd have a chance. Let's make sure. At this point, Finland have to fight. They have to force every single unit to fight them. But at what cost? 85%? The thing is, it's a bad fight for them to take. But they need to take the fight because they need Velez and Imp. That's their only chance. All the Cavalier melt. The crossbows are going to go down as well. Actually, you know what? That was actually... Was that good? I'm so confused. That was so crazy, man. I mean, clearly it was what they had to do, right? You have to get Arbalest into the hands of Velez. So he's got fewer units now, but his eco is still somewhat manageable. There's a lot of units that went down there for Max, but Max ends up with 16, and there's still only 10 from Miguel. I think, like, when I cast a series, I always have these moments that, to me, I think we're going to come back to when a series ends. And I honestly feel if Suomi win this game especially, that moment right there will be the series-defining moment. It wasn't a wrong move from Velez and Dogao Miguel and Dogao to go after their army there, but it was just incredible from Suomi to time that. Because you never know if that's their Imp TC. There's no way to know that. In the beta of Age of Empires 2 DE, you could actually see it, and I remember that. I lost a few Imp TCs against some friends as we were playing the beta. But yeah, you just do not know. Okay, this seems to be where the focus is for Dogao and Miguel, but I'm looking at the military count. Heresy do have the better economy, but the military count is very similar, and Max is on the way to Imperial Age, and Paladin is half off. So it's important for Dogao and Miguel that they do damage to either Max or Velez before Max is on Paladin. Don't ask me how Max was able to get the food income for that. I have to look. I think he might have received some sling, but this is an awful fight for Max. He's losing so many of his cav. I mean, Miguel is as well, but for Miguel, he's all in Castle Age anyway, so he doesn't really care. It's all about setting Dogao up to have success against Velez, and now it's 29 ARBs for Velez, 56 for Dogao. Yeah, really not a good fight for Velez to take. Oh, man, imagine if Heresy knew about this gold. If they scouted that, all those villagers would be gone, and then I don't know if Velez would be able to make any. Yeah, any ARBs. He's got a little bit of gold back there. The ARBs come this way. Will they spot this? Can you imagine the difference that would make? That's 13 villagers off of gold. That would be such a big deal. And Velez is just hoping and praying that that doesn't happen. Max is getting armor. And here comes Miguel this way. He's going to check. And all the quick walls there. Wow, that was sick. What a beast Velez is. Max is an imp. He's clicking Paladin. And he's getting the final armor upgrade, guys. He is also being pressured over here. That's his Paladin stable. If they attack that stable, it goes down before Paladin completes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's at 50% right now. Okay, I think Max is going to have to do a similar thing. I think he's going to have to fight or act like he's going to fight to force these units to stop attacking that. And Max might not notice that too. That's the thing. Because there's... I don't know what his mods are, but at least mine doesn't glow up like this when I play. Oh, I cannot believe this is happening to Suomi. 75%. Paladin takes so long. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Oh. Suddenly, he's like, man, my eco is sick. He gets his resources back. He's like, dang, man, I'm such a boomer. And okay, he clicked Paladin again in one of these other stables. I just don't know which one. Oh, this one. Okay. Now, why isn't this one glowing? That must be a capture age thing. Anyways, Miguel is in, so he's raiding the very fragile eco for Max. It's going to be all about if Max can use his Paladins in the first place, because I don't think he's going to be able to afford too many. There's just Arbalest everywhere from Dogal. I said it at the start of the series. I think Dogal is the best 2v2 player out of the 4 players here. They're all amazing, but Dogal is just... Dogal is incredible, what he's able to do. They're all incredible, don't get me wrong. Miguel also has been recovering with a boom. And did he get his unique tech? He did not get his unique tech. Now, I'm good friends with Miguel. I know him well. But I think he might not know about the new tech. He's going to hate me if he knows that I said that. But I feel like Miguel is one of those pro players that probably didn't get the memo about the new unique tech. Does anyone remember how much that costs? I'd love for him to prove me wrong here. But that tech would make a big difference when he gets Cavalier. The new tech is imp. Guys, when did I say it wasn't an imp tech? At what point did I say it's a Castle Age tech? He's on the way to imp, which is why I'm talking about whether or not he'll get the tech, my friends. He better know, because Max is going to be on Paladin, and the timing just might not be right for Heresy here. That's a lot of Arbs, but that's a lot of Paladins. Now, never has an Arbalest ever been so happy to see a fruit bush, because the Paladins cannot engage because of the fruit bushes. Look at all the Paladins. They're tripping over these lemons or these peaches or whatever it is. And here's Miguel. He's getting Cavalier right now. Does not seem to really have the resources for the unique tech just yet. I actually forget how expensive it is. I think it's like 500 food, 300 gold. He also needs to get the final armor, so he's going to prioritize those first. And we have a really even game. Look at the military counts now. This could not be closer. Blacksmith now for Miguel, so I think he wants to rush the Blast Furnace upgrade. Okay, it's 500 food, 400 gold. It's actually pretty pricey, but his eco is insane. He should get it. That could make the difference. He should be getting that tech right now, guys. I don't think he knows about it. I think he thinks it's the old Sicilians. That or he's forgotten. This is a good fight for Velez. Half of the units aren't fighting for Dogal right now. And Velez at one point was way behind in military, and he's caught up here. Paladins are running all throughout Miguel's eco. Miguel now has to react. I don't really know if the upgrade would have helped him yet. He's still going to... I think it's not going to make a big difference in these engagements. It'll make a big difference in the engagement in the middle. Why would they pick Sicilians without that tech? Because you have to pick, like, out of 39 civs, and you have to play a lot of civilizations once. So, I mean, Sicilians were never going to be your ideal pick here. It's just what is left, right? It was one of their final picks. But I feel like, in some ways, one of them should know, right? I feel like if Miguel doesn't know, Dogal should be like, hey, buddy, did you get the tech? Miguel's like, what? The tech that makes all my trash units give me gold? Or military units give me gold? I actually forget what the old one was. Watch them still win the game. Watch them still win the game. This is crazy. Look at the preparation from Dogal over here. They're ready for trade, guys. starting to wall the corners. You also see a similar thing here for Velez. Actually, he's just taking the gold for now. These Paladins could break into Miguel's eco pretty quickly. But now we have Cavalier and we have Arbalest here. So for those that don't know the new tech, the Nightline gets additional melee and pierce armor. And I believe it's +1 melee armor and +2 pierce armor. And the thing is, giving a Civ that already has the final armor upgrade +2 pierce armor is absolutely bonkers. Like, these things just do not die to archers. And also, you can't make halbs against Sicilians because they resist bonus damage. So you're pretty much just screwed if they get that tech, unless you have Paladin. So it's nuts. But he didn't get the tech because I don't think he knows about it. And also, Miguel is really struggling with his economy, guys. His economy is not looking good. But then again, Max isn't going to have an eco pretty soon if this continues. What is this base trade? Oh my god, Paladins and Arbs into this base. And now you've got way more Cavalier and Arbs going into this base. Dogao is fine. And Velez is fine. But Max and Miguel are very much not fine. It's just who is less fine. Well, there's certainly less to clear up at Miguel's base. The 140 military for Heresy. Here comes Velez to help out. And look at all the Arbs! Where are they coming from? How can he afford this stuff? It still makes me very sad that we're not seeing the Sicilian unique tech. But I still don't know if it's going to matter. Yeah, this here is going to be cleared. And if you look at the economy for Max now, funnily enough, it's actually not as bad as I thought. It's not as bad as I thought. He's at 70 villagers and still only 61 for Miguel. Like, the trade there would have been so much better if he had that tech. But you have Dogao with 71 Arbs, 107 eco. You have Velez with 87 military. Or, sorry, not 87 military. He's got 88 eco and 42 military. Dogao has just been an absolute god. Like, you might as well get down on your knees and pray to him right now. Like, he's your god now. This is insane. But actually, Max comes in with the Paladins that are remaining. This is nice. That's helpful. Lacking bloodlines, though, is a massive concern. As you see... Oh! Yes, Miguel! If you're like, where's Miguel been the last couple minutes? He's been looking at the tech tree, guys. He's one of us. Yes, he's getting the tech. He probably was like, is there anything else I get with this Civ? He's probably complaining. It's like, frickin' Sicilians, they suck. He's like, Hallberg? What is that? I cannot wait. You guys have to remind me. And I think I'll only ask this question if Heresy win this series, because otherwise asking this question might be seen as rude. But I will text Miguel after the series and ask him the situation there if you're curious. That is an amazing choke point to be in. But look how long it takes to take out a Cavalier. Look at that. That is so strong. That is 46 Arbs. That's a fourth of your population. It takes like 3 volleys to take out a Cavalier. I have to say, though, something Miguel needs to do a better job at is locking down this side. This has been a real thorn in his side. And I think that Miguel is actually going to send units to the corner right now. And we see a signal. Dogal's probably like, hey, you need to get markets in the corner so we can trade. And I was thinking that maybe Miguel would send his Cavalier to the corner because this is the area that matters now. I think taking good fights here could ultimately lead to more corner control, but I mean... Yeah, they're going to head to Max now. Still, sending some units to the corner for either side would be so strong. Max is at 75 vills, which is not so good, especially for a player that needs to make Paladin. You have pretty much a carry situation from Dogal, and same with Velez, though Max, I think, he did a solid job to come back from what was a really weird start to this game. Now he's starting to lose his eco, though, and Miguel's not. So Miguel has sorted out those problems. He's expanding his farming eco. He's got the unique tech in, so he can really be a thorn in Max and Velez's side. And now what? The only thing that's making me a little cautious about thinking Heresy's going to win this game is just the fact Miguel and Dogao aren't trading. That's the only thing. I'm very surprised that we do not have markets here for Miguel. I'm very surprised we don't have like 4 markets for Dogal. He's actually full on slinging resources to Miguel right now. And Miguel, they might kill this. They might win this game before trade. Dogal has researched everything all the way up to banking. So there's no tax when he's sending these resources. And Miguel's just queuing up Cavalier after Cavalier. And he's going to be in the trade. Yeah, maybe trade is not what they're looking to do here. Okay, I saw the blinking. That was actually an animal attacking. But hey, important detail as the Tiger gets a small victory. Max in reboom mode. He's trying to add TCs. But Miguel's all over the trade right now, guys. That trade is slowly going down. Velez, though, with 99 Arbalest. It's just that Max only has 11 Paladin, while there's 50 Cavalier for Miguel. I really like this castle position. The castle positions are looking stronger and stronger for the late game for Heresy. And the GG is called, guys. The Cavalier were running in. The Cavalier were all over the trade. Feels kind of weird to see a GG when you take a solid fight, but just think about the position. You've got perfect castle in the middle for Miguel. Perfect castle here. Perfect castle here. You then have stone walls, perfect castle here. Max barely has an economy left. He can't make army anymore. And then Velez has 100 military, but it's still not enough military to stop these Cavalier. Heresy win it. And the unique tech was a lot of... definitely helped Miguel there. It's like there was a big difference once the unique tech came in. Thank God they won that. I feel like that would be one that would keep you up at night if you forgot about that tech and then lost this game. But guys, what more can I say about Dogal's performance here? Fast Imp, pretty much one TC play. Then got to a point where he had the best eco in the game, and which doesn't normally happen off of Fast Imperials. And then he sent resources to Miguel. Like, what? Look at the resources. This is a Fast Imp player. Fast Imp is typically low eco. This is nuts. More wood, more food, more gold, and then he also sent 9k resources to his ally. Insane play from Dogal. To be fair, Velez also had a beastly performance. He was just on the losing side there, also with a similar KD and similar economies. But impressive stuff. Heresy 1 win away from moving on to the finals. But Suomi do have one more home map remaining. And the way the day has gone has been every team has won on their home map. So if you look over here, you had game 1 Arabia, which went to Heresy. And then it's been back and forth due to home maps. So in theory, if this continues that way, Finland will respond and tie it up 3-3 with a win on Atacama. And then in the final game, Heresy will win Golden Pit. Honestly, since this is this predictable, why do we even have them play? I think they should just play Arabia, and then whoever wins Arabia wins the best of 7. That's a big time saver there. That makes sense to me, right? I mean, you know, I get to go hang out on the couch, eat some wings, watch some TV. I think we should look at the civs now. I'm of course joking. So Atacama's coming up, and Atacama is very pressure heavy. So let's eliminate the civs. So previous game was Portuguese and Burgundians, and then we had Malay, and we had Sicilians. Okay. So we have 2 maps remaining. Golden Pit has got to be Berbers. I'm certain on that. It's got to be Berbers. Ooh, or it could be Slavs. Now, I think this is going to be saved for the final game for Finland. So let's say Berbers, Tatars. Yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe Berbers, Tatars for Golden Pit. So up next, we might have something like Slavs and Japanese, or Slavs and, or Teutons and Japanese. As for Golden Pit here, ooh, man, this is a little tricky civ-wise for Heresy. I mean, the next game, we're definitely going to see Khmer. Khmer are really good on Atacama because you can hide in houses. So maybe Khmer and Italians for archers? But then Golden Pit, you don't really have one of those top-tier Golden Pit civs. The reason Ethiopians were banned is because there's a global ban at the start, and they can... it's a hidden global ban, and they can just choose whatever civ they want to globally ban from the whole series. They both happen to decide on Ethiopians. I don't know, I feel like there's a small chance we might see Bohemians in Game 7, but if I'm Heresy, I want to win this next game because I will not like my civilizations going into Game 7. I think Berbers is one of the sickest civs for that map, simply due to the cheaper knights in the mid-game. Anyways, score 3-2 for Heresy. They will have 2 chances. It has been a long time since this channel has hit 10K viewers. I'm not going to beg because this is already amazing, but I just want to say thank you guys. I don't know when the last time was, to be honest. I'm also very thankful I can even say those words that had happened before, but welcome in, everybody. So probably some people are watching that haven't watched in a long time. We'll get some salutes from the dedicated faithful here to you. Yeah, like I was thinking maybe Hidden Cup. Not sure. Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Iraqi, for the 3 months. This took a little break from AoE too, but back here to watch these semis. Love your content. See, there you go. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for the support. I know you guys can't try hard Age all the time. I get that. I'll always be here. I'll always be making content, though. So if you want Age of Empires, you have it. Thank you, Ludito, for the Twitch Prime. New sub. Saraki, thank you. Thank you, the Banana Robot. Thank you, Rek. I will not be casting the finals with my cat. No, I'll be casting with Lidacor, which is slightly better than my cat. My cat's a good caster, so that's a compliment to Lidacor. All right, Game 6 is about to start. Hello, game? Sorry, I know you can hear the game sounds. Game 6 is about to start. Again, I think certain civs will be saved for Game 7. You have to think that way. The pressure is on. And we will have Tatars and Slavs for Team Suomi, who are on the brink of elimination here in the semis. Miguel and Dogao will have Indians and Malians. I like the civ matchup here. I don't think there's any strong advantages here for either team. But I am just thinking in the back of my mind that if Suomi make it to Game 7, I do prefer their civilizations there. So we'll have to see. Charlie says, hello, I just reached for the first time both above 1250 in 1v1 and above 1800 in team game. Are pros already aware of the risk? What risk? The risk of having to face up against a god like you? That's incredible. Congratulations. Not sure what you mean there. You ready, guys? Can you handle this action? Let's do it. Things start to really pick up at this point. And then you've got Atacama. Expect messiness and expect aggression. Velez playing Tatars, he'll play the archer role. Very similar to what we've seen so far throughout the day today. We're going to have the Max with the fastest farming civ in the game, playing Slavs. So expect to see a lot of scouts from him. Up against the Max, we have Dogao also playing the archer role, playing as the Malians, a very flexible civ. I like it. Then you've got Miguel playing with a civ that actually doesn't get knights here. So that could be strong. That also could be a weakness for Indians, though I expect a lot of scouts as well. This map is tricky. You start with these pre-built lumber camps, but you're going to chop through that wood very quickly. And then you need farms too, so you have to kind of pre-plan on where you're going to get wood. Now, typically what happens, if it's scouts versus archers, which it is on both sides, you're going to see spearmen archers combined moving forward. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, Spearman Archer. Over here, you're going to see Archer Spearman. Is he making a second one? I mean, all the small things matter here. Having the barracks on the back delaying this really matters. Actually, the barracks is on the back here too. So, okay, whatever. Hard to look at everything. And Miguel's looking for a snipe here. Hasn't found one yet. Maybe expecting some pressure. Will he micro this away? Gets the scout. He's not paying attention. Oh, there he goes. He was probably paying attention here, and he wanted the Vil, and... oh, God, disaster for Miguel here. Look at the weak scouts here. He lost the scout, and he lost HP over here. And now don't tell me it's going to compound on him. Oh, boy. He's got some very weak scouts. Meanwhile, Max is at Dogal's base. And Max has 3 full HP scouts that will lead to more scouts, that will lead to more aggression. And I really think Miguel's going to be upset with his start. It's the multitasking that makes it awkward. But here's Dogal. And Dogao, man, this is so good. Check it out, guys. He killed the Vil. He used the Spearman to block the house wall. And Max needed that house wall to stop this from getting worse. Dude, the small little things he's able to do. He kills 2 villagers, and now he's blocking off the berries from the player who needs the food for additional scouts. So well played. And here comes Miguel with 4 scouts. 2 of them are weak, but he might even hit Max. Max kind of struggling for food at the moment. But Max is going to go over to Miguel, and Miguel could have similar problems. Look at that tower spot. Like, having to tower there is like... It makes me sad to see. Anyways, we're going to see some death and destruction as we predicted. Velez did send some support over here. Villager down. And Max will save that villager, I believe. You know what is really nice is that Velez and Dogao are pretty much untouched right now. Miguel is taking a lot of damage. Max is taking a lot of damage. That's been the theme when I've seen 2v2 Atacama in this tournament. Could have been worse for Miguel. Could still get worse, but Miguel only lost 1 villager there. And you see the signal from Max. He's saying, hey, Dogao's over on that side. And Dogao actually sent in additional archers now too. So this is a little tricky because Velez has to send more than just 3. Dogao maybe bracing himself for an incoming switch from Max's scouts. Max has done a great job keeping those scouts alive and active to fight another day. And I think we're going to see... I mean, yeah, you're just going to take losses here. Like, both Max and Miguel are struggling to be able to create more scouts, but Max has the scouts because he didn't lose them unnecessarily earlier on in the game. The Spearmen go down. The archers for Velez could go down as well, but he's got more units coming in, and it's expected from Dogao, who will click up to Castle Age soon, surprisingly. I think we'll see the same for Velez, though. And Miguel is just rattled, dude. He does not know where to go, what to do. Okay, this is important. Now, check it out. Max is not hitting the player who's in the strongest position for Team Heresy. Miguel's going to try and do that. Somehow the walls are up here. I can't check that tree, but I feel like there could be an overchop here because these villagers have probably been chopping it for a bit. Let's hope for Suomi there's not an unfortunate situation where the overchop happens. Okay, pulls the villager back. I wish I could check that tree. If I did select the right one, it's only got 80, and oh no! The scouts make it through. There was a hole. Off of gold is Velez. Over here, they clear this up, but I mean, Dogao's untouched at home, guys, and Dogao has clicked up to Castle Age. Velez could still click up to Castle Age. He does do so, thankfully. He's off of gold, though, which means that will hurt his archer numbers. And I would say that Dogao is going to be in a stronger position upon arriving to Castle Age, and he's going to arrive to Castle Age faster. That villager goes down. This archer goes down. Velez doesn't have military here. It's everywhere except at home. And what a great recovery from Heresy here. I honestly think they should just stay here, but maybe Dogao wants to keep his archers alive. That was such a big play for them. Now, you do have scouts over here, but Dogao saves 3 out of the 4 villagers. I don't know if they can ever leave, but that was a great quick wall from him. Don't ask me how they do everything at once. He's got archers waiting here. He's got a tower waiting here. He'll probably send some spearmen back for this. There's still a lot of damage for Max to do with those scouts, and he's probably feeling pressured to do it too. He's got so many of them. Every little palisade wall counts. Dogao shoring up all the spots. I think there's not even... Yeah, there's a palisade there, so there's no hole. Okay, now this hurts because he's just clicked his upgrades and Max arrives with all these scouts and Velez arrives with the archers. This is intense. He didn't get to click crossbow, guys, because he doesn't have the resources for it. And no way! Suomi, you're diving! What a recovery from Suomi! They dived the tower! Wow, man. And now Dogao has will have Bodkin arrow, but he's not going to have many archers. And this is swung, and now Velez has 17 archers to work with. Granted, he will take a lot of losses here, because those archers did take some tower fire. But crazy, 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 crazy stuff. And I think Suomi needed that. Great job from the Max. Great job from Velez. And I struggle to say the game is super... Well, no, it is pretty even right now, actually. And you've got Velez with a slightly better archer count and Thumbring being in. But there's still so many scouts for Miguel. These crossbows have to be careful. I think Dogao is going to head over to Max's base, but I'm not too sure. Now, if you look at the farming numbers, You have 18 for Miguel. You have 24 for Max. Max also farms faster with Slavs. So I prefer Finland's position with the Archer Civ, the Archer numbers, but also the Scout Civ and the farm numbers. I really do think Finland are in the position to take this to Game 7. Nice TC there for Velez. That'll protect the gold and the wood line in the middle, which is huge. Now, it does matter that Miguel's going to get hit here, but at the same time, Dogal's in the strongest position for his team. So this could give an opportunity for Miguel to maybe trade against an army and allow Dogal to go forward. But Dogal is actually coming over here to save Miguel. And you'll see the difference now, as Miguel hasn't clicked up the Castle Age yet. There we go. And it just allowed Max a little more freedom, right? Because Max hasn't been hit. He's been able to sort out some of those problems, and it's been Suomi threatening. And also buying a lot of time. Buying a lot of time for Max, buying a lot of time for Velez to be able to make more crossbows and solidify his position at home. Now, if these things become light cav, this can be pretty tough. Indian light cav are amazing against archers. That was a somewhat recent change to our game. So I think they'll recognize that, and they're actually turning around and they're coming right back to fight this. Crazy game. Now, can you fight this with this many scouts? I feel like there's an argument for it. You might even have to. Villagers going down. Backing away now is Miguel under so much pressure. Here comes Dogal. I guess if Dogal's coming over, you just wait until he's there and then you fight it. Yeah, I think you've got to fight this now. Yep. He's dove a little too deep, Velez. This crossbow is still extremely strong. And check this out, guys. Check this out. Dogal's had to pull off of that entire wood line. So Velez knew he was going to be hit here. They knew they were forcing a reaction. But they killed villagers. And the next force was already heading towards a different spot. Max hits Castle Age, instantly clicks the Light Cav upgrade. He's got 9 scouts that will be Light Cav soon, and he's going to be making knights. And Velez with Thumb Ring is dominating these crossbows here. I think we're gonna go to a Game 7. Look at this. Max is coming in. Oh, no. Well, Dogal can't take wood. He doesn't have the army to deal with this. The tower's really done nothing. It was a good idea to tower, but the tower has accomplished so little here. The Light Cav can just distract at this point. Just allow the crossbows to pick off villagers. Dogal is scrambling. We have some support from Miguel on the way as he's getting Light Cav. Light Cav get dealt with, and now Light Cav will be in for Miguel. And he... Now, let's see. Let's see how strong the Light Cav bonus is going to be here. The thing is, though, he doesn't have the final armor upgrade. Army count is ahead for Heresy. I think Finland are a bit better when it comes to macroing and like your standard RM games as a team. But there's also a slight risk with that on this type of a map because your eco is being put into the middle. So, I mean, just things to think about, you know? By the way, chat, did Dogal get Thumb Ring? I don't think he did. But it's very possible I missed it, and it doesn't show on the overlay. Max is currently out of position right now. This is not so good for Velez. Typically, the choke point would be good, but I mean, I guess it could have been worse. Okay, maybe Heresy having an opportunity with all this military they have right now, and a decent position. I noticed Miguel and Dogal are both on stone, so maybe we'll see an offensive castle after a big attack. Kind of tricky when you're making knights and the Indian camels are out there, but it's also tricky to have the camels out there when crossbows are so good against them. I like this for Miguel. Looks like he's going to go for some type of a raid. Also, I really like how Max is walled up, though he might overchop one of those trees in a bit. Just sitting back is Velez and Max, and maybe a little too passive for my liking. Maybe the whole 3-town center thing isn't the way to go about this. Somehow Dogal has more crossbows now. I think they did spot the armies going over here, but I'm not so sure they can do anything about it. And the Light Cav are hitting some villagers. Notice how Miguel hasn't been hit. Also, Dogal hasn't been hit. They're not that far behind in eco where this is not winnable, right? Eco should equal additional military numbers. It hasn't happened yet for Suomi. Will it happen? Also, Tatars do not get Arbalest. But they do get Bracer, something Malians don't get. So that's that's a conversation we'll have at some point soon. Finally, Thumb Ring's on the way. And yeah, Dogal and Miguel decide to back away from this, which I think is a good idea. I really don't think Velez should make... Someone said make cav archers. I really don't think that's a good idea. When you're behind in crossbow numbers, that's probably a losing move. If you get ahead, if you take a really good fight with this eco lead, then I think switching into cav archers is good. But I think you need to maintain your position and make sure you don't try and tech switch when times are so close. But yes, eventually that's something on the cards for Tatars. Random camel. Oh, just passing here underneath the TC. I don't know where he's going, Miguel. I really don't. But this is a decent fight for Dogal. Of course, Thumbring is now in. And Max maybe not paying as close attention because he's getting raided by the camel. So that worked out. You guys see the stone count right now for Dogal? And the stone count for Velez? That could make all the difference. This is so interesting, guys. Suomi with a 35 villager lead as a team right now. Massive lead. But they do not have the military lead. If a castle were to go up next to some of these town centers, I mean, that's your eco lead right there that would go down to a castle. Imagine having to relocate your entire wood line because of a castle drop. I guess there's no... I guess if a castle went here, that would be ideal, but that's blocked off. Oh, wow, Miguel leaving... Oh, Max is returning the favor with some raids. Kind of weird to me that all the camels are heading this way. Oh, okay. The camels are going to support the castle spot. That makes sense. Okay, so the camels will support the castle spot. I think Dogal has to place it as close to this wood line as possible. And I'm wondering what the reaction is going to be from Suomi. They will see this. Okay, they see the camels are here now. They might converge towards the camels. The crossbows are moving over. They don't see that yet. Now they do. You have additional crossbows coming. This could easily be denied, but it also could change the entire course of the game if it goes up. And Max is like, what do I do? I don't think we can stop that. If you go in for the Vills there, you then lose your buddy's crossbows. This is a really good fight for Heresy, I think. Like, the start to the fight at least was really good. A lot more camels are going to go down to crossbows than knights are going to go down to crossbows. But, I mean, the position is what Heresy could use to win the game. Castle goes up. Villagers will start to die. TC will start to go down. But there's now no camels. And the difference there, guys, is just camels have less pierce armor than knights do. But, at the same time, that's an awfully good castle spot. And maybe just an opportunity to raid this area as we see a castle for Velez. Now, if this goes up... Suddenly, it's about pushing the other side quickly because Velez will probably try and go up to Imp and treb that down. So Velez, I don't know how you get to 100 Vils with such a crazy game, but he has somehow done that, which is disgusting. But yeah, he's going to try and stay alive, get a castle up, Imp, treb that back. Now we should see a 2v1 on the Max, I think. And again, Max has been hitting Miguel. Miguel has been distracted a lot in this game. Suomi with still a pretty solid military position. Again, you do not get Arbalest with Tatars, but now you could maybe start to make the CA. Yeah, this makes sense to me. Maintain your crossbow mass. Hold your strong position. Oh, Miguel! Villagers! Almost 10 villagers here. But we're going to have another castle from Dogal, and they kind of have to do this. Max could take losses. Oh! The micro from Dogal. What the... What a reaction that was. That castle's going to go up for Dogal. But they just don't have the eco behind all of this. I think this castle will get trebbed down. Almost feels like Velez, if he makes enough cav archers and gets enough upgrades, he might be able to fight all the military Dogal and Miguel have on his own. Have Heresy killed enough economy with these little all-ins here? Not yet. Knights are melting, though. We now have towers for Velez. Anything you can do to stall it out at this point is the way to go. I think if Miguel had a Knight Civ, you could dive the towers, but with the camels, I know Indian camels are okay against buildings, but it just feels like it's enough to hold, you know? That's the Imp TC. Max is going Imp. That's crazy. Miguel still has had these crossbows to deal with, and I think it's just too much to ask for him to also get a lot of camels to this side. But wouldn't it be crazy if they took out Max's Imp TC? If they think Max is up, and they dive that town center, I'm going to lose my mind. Look at this! Max is expecting it! Max is expecting it! He's going to drop a castle here! There is a chance if they stop Max from getting to Imp. Max only has 10 military. And that's the reason for that is because he spent all of his resources on Imp. You have to make a decision. Miguel could have gone Imp too, but he chose instead to make camels. I don't see the MTC going down. We see the upgrades coming in now for Velez. That will apply to his crossbow. Oh, those aren't crossbows. His crossbows, sorry, also apply to the Cav Archers. The Tatar Cav Archers are incredibly strong. We are going to see Max start losing his stables. And it still doesn't feel game over to me yet. Yes, we are going to see this eventually get Treb down. But there's still a lot of pressure coming in from Heresy. The problem is I'm not sure how scalable all this is. Indian Camels don't get the final armor upgrade in Imp. Malians do not get Bracer on their Arbalest. Tatars, they're in their sweet spot right now. They're in their wheelhouse making these Cav Archers. And there's so much military, excuse me. Yeah, I take back what I said a minute ago. I just feel like Velez can 1v2 this entire army, no problem. Heresy will not have the eco to make a tech switch. It will not have the time to make a tech switch. Max can just chill out. Max can just ease his way into Cav Archers, or not Cav Archers, sorry, Cavalier. And we do have a Game 7. Indians have been very underwhelming in this tournament for me, guys. I don't know about you. Overall, I think Velez and Max just outplayed in the crucial moment there in early Castle Age to push back Dogao. But Indians just haven't really been that strong of a civ for me in this tournament. Maybe it's a little different in standard 2v2s and Empire Wars. I'm not too sure. But man, I wish I knew what minute it was. You know what? I could probably find it. We have the time. Their technology stats. Okay, 10 minutes. Look at this. We're going to go back to the 10. There. We're going to go back to the 10-minute mark. And this was what won Suomi the game, in my opinion. It'll take a minute to jump back there. But that dive from Max, combined with Velez coming in, yeah, this was the moment, was just disgusting. So at this point, I'm saying Dogal's going to be in Castle Age faster. They just did damage to Velez. This is amazing for Heresy. And all of a sudden, Max shows up with all these scouts, with all these upgrades. And Velez says, it's worth it to dive this tower. Look, he's not even in Castle Age yet. But they realize how dangerous it would be if Dogao had numbers. To make that decision, to be in the proper spot at that second is just insane. And the micro was good. The execution was pretty good. And then from there, they had control of the game. From there, it was more difficult for Dogao and for Miguel to ask questions of Suomi. And we go into Game 7 here in just a moment, guys. There's a look at the overall resources. I was absolutely fanboying over Dogao in the game prior to this. What a sick performance from Velez. Like, Velez did what Dogao did in game number 5. And the whole series has been back and forth. So, will we finally have 2 wins in a row from a team in this best of 7? Or will Heresy just respond on their home map? Every single home map has been a victory here today. And here's what we have remaining. I'm sorry to the next semifinal and the final, but I feel like this is going to be the series of the day. This is going to be very hard to beat. It almost feels like a final. It will be Golden Pit for Heresy. It all comes down to this. And we have to speculate slightly on the civs, but I think I have strong guesses. So Slavs, Tatars were used. And then we had Indians and Malians used. It's interesting they didn't go Khmer there. I guess there was a loss. I think we see Khmer Italians. I know Bohemians are something to get excited about with chemistry and Castle Age. I think still we're going to see Italians for the Archer Civ and Khmer for the Knight Civ. And then I think here we're going to see Berbers and Japanese. Yeah, makes sense. Berbers is a definite with the cheap Knights. Japanese, probably the only Civ there that makes sense for Archers. I've been saying that I think Berbers are just the best Knight Civ for Golden Pit. So as far as the draft goes, maybe you give a slight advantage to the Finns. As far as preparation and preference goes, maybe you give an advantage to Heresy. Because obviously they picked the map, and I think they're undefeated on the map as well in this tournament. All right, bear with me, guys. We're going to hop into game number 7. The hype is real. Imagine the pressure I mean, the prize pool is already pretty freaking awesome. But the pressure, oh boy, I'm sure it's real right now. Especially after playing for 3 hours now. Like, this is an Empire Wars set. I guess technically it's been 2.5 of gameplay, but Empire Wars is supposed to be faster. This is really taking a long time. A thank you to Buzz. Thank you to Dale. Hey, happy 2 years, Dale. Thank you, Tele and Ludito and Stellar for the new Twitch Prime supporters today. We had Pabsy. Thank you for 4 months. Flame Warrior, thank you for 6. And to all the new people, to all the dads, the old timers out there, thank you, chat. 5 seconds till we'll be in. Golden Pit. It is Japanese and Berbers against Khmer Italian. Sorry, Bohemians. Yeah, Forest Pond game took some time. You're right on that. Azure Sentry, thank you for the 5 gifted. Let's get the hypes in the chat. Game 7. This is what it's all about, people. This is what it's all about. This is what the players live for. We'll see who moves on to the final later on today. Velez playing as the Japanese, teamed alongside the Max. Surprise, surprise, who's Berbers. This is the thing on this map. It's fairly open, and yet the meta seems to be do as little as possible in Feudal Age and Wall to get to Knights and Crossbows. The goal is to secure the middle, whether that be with TCs in Castle Age or Castle Age armies. Dogal going Italians, he'll go Archers. Miguel will go Scouts. Now, what's a little tricky here is you have the Archer player versus Scout player on both sides. So it means that Spearman Archer thing you see at times can work out to deny walls. I expect it from both sides, though I could be wrong. Of course, you start with a lot of eco, but you get given the lumber camps and the mining camps. What's this villager doing? Why is this villager just standing there? DE. What? Okay, maybe he had clicked it, actually. Probably wants to click it to wall over there. Here comes the Archer and the Spearman. Scout players can't really deal with this yet. They don't have enough scouts. Over here, you see the Spearman, but it's not going forward. So, at least in terms of the movement of the units, a slight advantage right now for Finland. But, I mean, it all depends. All depends on if they get hits. All depends on if the walls go down. There's lots of walling to be done, and which is so crazy because Golden Pit, there's so many gaps, but they just decide, oh, Miguel's taking sheep next to his mill? What a pro. You would think that they would get in, but these guys are just too fast and too good. And, oh, man, this is so important. So at this point, Dogao has probably communicated to his teammate that Max could be coming this way. And Max tries to attack the palisade that was already partially built, will not get through, and Miguel will probably complete this on the backside. Now, I've noticed that Max hasn't fully walled the backside yet, so if there was like, well, he's walling here. What is that wood line? Oh my god. He has not had to wall near as much. Anyways, what I was going to say is that the Archers could maybe sneak in from Dogao, but I don't know if Dogal's even going to send anything out, and the walls are definitely up. Creative walling from the Max, but also these woodlines definitely benefited him. I'm not going to sit here and add up the amount of palisades for each player, but I feel like Max didn't have to wall as much. Also, he's Berber, so his villagers are just a little bit faster. Looking at the food counts are looking better for Finland to go up to Castle Age faster, and that is where it's all about. That is what it's all about. Miguel walled a bit more, created a few scouts. He's going to take out the Spearman. He's going to take out the Archer. But his uptime is going to be delayed. Is he marketing? Oh, God, this market timing's huge. Guys, look at his eco. He has so much gold. If he had a market already, he'd quickly buy the food and be up at the same time as Max. I honestly would pull another villager to build that, but maybe I'm freaking out over nothing right now. Timing is crucial. Okay, imagine you're brand new to the game today, and you're showing up and you're like, I want to learn some tips about how to play. This game's a little stressful, but I'm trying to learn. The first thing you hear me say is, oh my god, he needs to make a market to buy food or he's dead. Oh my god. Like, the level of stress there with having to up a little bit faster would probably completely overwhelm a newcomer. Sorry. Anyways, 40 seconds isn't the worst. What is really good for Miguel is that you only get 6 tiles of gold at your base in Golden Pit, and both of them are within his walls. So over here, that's not the same for Max. It's not the same for Velez. And that is also not the same for Dogao. So maybe it's worth it. Finland just a little bit faster to the next age, but a little bit of scout presence also doesn't hurt. Here comes Velez with some archers, and I think Miguel's going to see if Dogao's going to be pounced on. It's so important, I think, to spot this because of Velez's uptime and because of Velez's numbers. And Miguel spots it. That's incredible. I could do much of what these players have done so far except for that. Like, I would miss that, and then my teammate would lose his archers, and then we'd be out of position, and then we'd be like, this is why I cast. And then it would, yeah. That's huge. Because that dictates what you do with your strategy, right? You might otherwise try and loop around to hit the golds, and then say goodbye momentum. And Velez also noticed he was spotted. It's so sick. He's like, okay, he knows I'm coming, so they're probably going back, so I'll go forward. All right. So crossbow on the way. Bodkin's already in for Velez. I think what's going to happen here for Brazil is they're going to have to converge over at Miguel's base. Because I foresee all that pressure going right over to Miguel's base. We got 3 stable knights for Max. Max is going to send those knights, yeah, right out across the map, pressure Miguel. Now Miguel, he just spotted the crossbows. So he had the scouts over here. He just let his buddy know, hey, we're getting pressured. Now, what you normally want to try and do is kill villagers. If you cannot kill villagers, you kill stables in this position if you're Finland. Take out their stables, they won't have as many knights. Then again, Velez doesn't have the support right now, so he does indeed back away. The thing about Khmer and Messi games is that their farms bring in a lot of food. They do not need drop-off points for their farms, so the food income is going to be good. The gold income is going to be good for Miguel as well. But Berber knights are cheaper. So I think Berbers are definitely a step up. Okay, and let's see if Miguel can use these scouts to find armies again. Because they've come over here, but Velez is gone. And now Velez is moving forward. Velez just now getting ballistics. Maybe that's why he left, actually, because that's pretty late. Dogao already has that. And then look at Dogao, checking for the army with his scout. And he might even say he doesn't have ballistics. So they might go into this fight, but now they might realize ballistics is in a little too late. This has actually been the most impressive game of them all with the scout movement. I love it so much. Like, I know that 2v2s oftentimes seem like it's just spamming scouts and knights and armies, and I know Empire Wars is kind of like that in some ways. Maybe it's less strategic, but I mean, the scouting here has been beautiful, man. Look, still making use of the scouts, looking for the armies. He sees what's up. And this might be a moment where Miguel says, can we TC the middle right now? Can we go to the middle? Do we want to go to the middle right now? And look at this! Look at this! Max is checking for their armies as well, and now the scout has gone down. So, for the last 5 minutes, they've just been trying to figure out where the armies are. 0 surprises. This is wonderful. And now, I mean, Max has an outpostville to have a better idea of what's going on. But it looks like a decision has been made, and we are going to see the Brazilians head over towards the Max. Now, what Finland does about this is going to be really fun to talk about, because if they send everything, they could probably clear this, but they also are out of position to stop Miguel's TC in the middle. And remember, Max can't take this gold right now. Oh! And Max, wow, that was sick. He added a stone wall there. He thought he was going to accidentally let the armies in. So yeah, I think Miguel needs to back out of here. Miguel needs to back out of here. Here he is. The armies are here to trap. That is a lot of army for Finland. And the knights for Miguel kind of out of position. At the same time, you might need to consider deleting that stable if you are the Max because, well, yeah, he does it because of the pathing. Crazy fight here. And because of the home field advantage, Max is going to destroy here. It's 19 knights versus 10 knights. Miguel doesn't have any reinforcements here. That means Dogao's army disappears, and I think it was a mistake for Dogao and Miguel to commit there. They do have Miguel in a position with better economy, though. He's on 2 TCs. He's got the food income for that. I think there's arguments to be made that maybe he can outproduce with knights, but I mean, you're up against Berbers. Crazy. It was just too tempting, wasn't it? Too tempting to go out there. What I always say is win fights, take map control. Notice what they're doing now. They've won the fight. Now Max and Velez are coming out here for map control. And now if you've got army, you just start taking out the TC, right? But we could have a similar situation. I mean, now Dogal's pretty close by here. Miguel's going to have more knights over here. But that TC is going to go down very quickly. They've got to engage this if they want to save the villagers, and you almost have to save the villagers. TC will go down. Okay, they're going to commit to a fight here. They have to. Now, the good news is a lot of these knights are weak. Also, the TC is focusing on the crossbows. Miguel's doing that intentionally. Normally, it would default to the closest unit. So it actually looks like they're going to weather this storm here, guys. It's not great. It's not ideal. But they are going to weather this storm. The TC will stay up for Miguel. And that could have been way worse for them. As now you're looking at 13 knights versus 16 knights. And Miguel has, well, he has 10 more villagers. Plus some crossbowmen being thrown away there by Velez. Dogal doesn't have access to gold just yet. Let me check the food eco. That food eco is looking pretty solid for archer players. This is all going to be about numbers right now, and it is so close. Oh, man, Miguel. Miguel, dude, auto farm. Actually, he might have auto farm on. In all fairness, he just doesn't have a lot on wood. What? I didn't realize Dogal had stone for a castle. I think this is too early, though. They don't have the army to support a forward castle right now. But wait a second. If it's 50-50 with the armies, or even 55-45... the enemy has to focus on your army over the villagers. Because if they focus on the vills, then the enemy wins their fight with the army. Well, not with this positioning. Because the crossbows are perfectly placed for Velez. So the villagers pull back. A lot of weak knights there for the Max. I think Max is looking at his numbers and he's not realizing how weak they are. Siege Workshop for the Max. Villagers coming forward for Dogal to finish the castle. Again, if you focus on the villagers, you then are not hitting the army from the enemy. I think this castle will go up. I know there's only 4 villagers, but with... it's not going to go up. It's not going to go up. It is going to go up. It's so close. Mango's on the way. Dogal needs to send more vills. Miguel needs more knights here. He's sending them in faster than the Max is. That one villager is building as fast as possible. And it's like he doesn't even know there's a war being fought right next to the building site. Maganel! Oh! That could be it, guys. The population's still close. Dogal's still coming forward. More villagers are here to save the day. And it seems like Miguel just has enough to hold this off. This is incredible stuff. If this castle goes up, good luck taking gold long term if you're Velez and Max. They still can take it. But the castle is going to complicate matters. Now, Dogal lost a lot of villagers to get that castle up. What I'm wondering is, will he make Genoese crossbowmen as well? So I feel like making Genoese crossbowmen would be really nice against the knights, but also, you kind of don't need Genoese crossbowmen against the knights. You're going to need to just stick with crossbows because you're like, you don't want to be worse in the crossbow fights. You know what I mean? Holy cow, that was crazy. Now, what sucks is, Velez has to play reactive now. Like, Dogal and Miguel are heading over to Max, and they have to react. And this TC is in harm's way. So we'll see Siege for Dogal to push that. But one big mango shot could still mean they're okay here, and the micro from Dogal well played. Miguel well played is going to take that out. Dogal with the micro. Oh! Why would you do that? No! He lost half of his army, guys. What a misplay there. I think you always run away there. I think he got overconfident, and he went for a split, and Max was able to get a hit in, and now suddenly, 14 crossbows only for Dogal. That's huge, man. I think Miguel's going to have to carry this one now. He certainly has strong eco. 2 TCs. He's been outperforming Max with the knights, but now that you see a castle for Velez, that's going to protect enough gold for him to go imp. If this castle goes up, this could be a bad position for Heresy here in Game 7. Yeah, Velez sees this. Velez realizes how important it is. Can he not wall there? Okay, he can. He didn't fully build the palisade wall here. There is a Maganel coming from the other side, but I think it's going to be too late to deny it. just enough. 85%, 95%. Castle will go up. Mangonel and crossbow's too late. And Velez is going to click up to Imp. Stonks, man. Stonks. And then this army will get stronger. The castle will make trebs. I think the only thing you can do now is completely kill the max. Velez is clearly the person you cannot do much against. You have to kill the max. And how do you kill a guy who can afford this many knights? Can he afford this many knights? He's going to this gold now. That, or you can hit Velez's eco. Velez is going to send some Vils out here. Oh. Opportunity? Ooh, that's nice. Dogal's also imping. This is crazy. Siege Workshop will go out. Army's just kind of waiting on this hill where they were now, as you see Max coming over to help and Velez coming to save his Vils. That's good value there, though. That was very good value. Nice little repair there for Velez. He seems to be keeping an eye on things. And can those mangoes really range that TC? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Army count's very similar. Eco count very similar. Miguel all in knights right now. I think that's the difference. It's just he has a greater economy than the max. He's even going for a third TC. This would be such a huge statement game for Miguel. He obviously is the perfect partner for Dogal, and he's known him for years. But I mean, I think many people's opinions have just been that Dogal is the better player, right? Not like that's a diss to him. Dogal's a crazy player. But, you know, to be able to play a role in keeping Dogal alive when Dogal has kind of had some bad moments here would be sick. And now it's Miguel's turn to stay alive against the Night Raids, and he's doing a good job. We've got gates. We've got stone walls. He needs something here, though. He needs something here. Oh! Jeez, I'm losing my mind. He got the knights into Velez's economy. Velez is quick walling. You've got armies in the center. This is ridiculous. Now, what is interesting is that if you make trebs, you can sit in these little choke points if you're Velez. And that's important because there's a lot of knights for Miguel. Now, Velez doesn't want to be in a position where he has to save the max. And he is kind of in that position because Max can't take the gold in the middle, and Max is about to lose his town center. So this could buy time for Dogal, who's now sending army this way. And if he's able to loop his army over here, he could actually range gold villagers. I mean, this is... If you look at the military counts, Heresy have really taken it up a notch over the last couple minutes. And honestly, props to Miguel for that. I think he has the worst civ. Not that Khmer are bad, but I think if you were to compare Khmer to Berbers, sorry. Berbers are just the better civ. And Dogal trying to repair the castle that won't last too long because he doesn't have a lot of stone. But you could say the exact same thing for Velez. Maybe both castles will end up going down. Guys, if both castles end up going down, it's just a full-on brawl in the middle. Dogal's not going to head this way. He's instead going to loop towards the middle, and this treb could go down. That needs to be repaired. Oh! Oh my god! No, what? Did it get hit again? I looked away. I went to hotkey that so we could watch it later. We could look back at that moment as a deciding moment in this game. I surely thought that was out of range. Has 42 arbs against 35 arbs. Dogal now out of stone. The thing is, Velez isn't mining any stone. So, I mean... Yeah, there's that. Max is 28 military somehow. I don't even know where it is right now. Is that stat even real? Where is it? There's some of it. And Velez had decided to just dive in here. Miguel's all in on knights. 54 of them. And Max is an imp getting cavalier now. So he'll have the tech advantage, but he will not have the numbers advantage. That's a lot of knights. And Dogal knows what he needs to do. He needs to use this time to take out the arbs. The castle's going to fall. Expect the trebs to go down. But honestly, who cares about the trebs? At this point, it's about the important armies that are going to control the middle. And as I'm looking at this, the military count is suddenly getting a whole lot closer. Heresy doesn't have as big a lead. And remember, Miguel is all in Castle Age. He will not have Cavalier. He will not have armor. This is so close. Miguel has such a good economy. Max has recovered, though. I don't understand, man, how he's been able to recover like this. There is more Arbalests out there for Dogal. There's also more Knights for Miguel than there is Cavalier for the Max. And are they going to do this, Heresy? Are they going to do this? They've got a nice little surrounds here. The bombard cannon gets a hit. Every little bit matters here. Flooding military, one person in Castle Age, one person in Imp. This is the only location where Finland have gold, guys. They will lose access to gold here. Velez will not be able to make any more Arbalest. Ridiculous. I know Max had numbers, but he does not have the numbers that Miguel will have. Miguel has the gold. Dogal has the gold. The Arbs are backing up, but how can you afford anything more? 40 villagers for Velez. Max is going to have to save the day with the cheap Cavalier. This is insane. Insane. The thing is, guys, while Velez is pretty much, he's not dead, right? While he's in a bad position economically, while he can't make any more Arbs, he still has a solid mass, and Max has an incredible fight in him. He's starting to mix in light cav. He might even try and raid Dogal's starting eco. I mean, there's so much that Max could do to even just avoid the middle right now. I'm really curious about this. Also, Miguel's in a spot where he doesn't have that many farmers. He's got tons on gold, but he doesn't have as many farmers as the Max. So, I mean, maybe if Max goes for Hussar here, is there a chance? They could trade. No, they don't have the gold for trade. You'd need the trade upgrades. You need to have consistent gold income to invest into trade. I don't think trade would work. This is what I mean. Max could run over here and Dogal will lose everything. Max should do that, in my opinion. And the only way you kind of stop Max from doing that is hitting Max and forcing reactions from Max, which we're now going to see from Miguel. And I think Dogal should go over there as well. They have Velez out of the middle. I think they should head right over to the Max. And they should stop the Max from being able to have this freedom. Max is getting the trade upgrade, but guys, they only have this much gold to trade with. I don't think that's enough. Plus, the markets aren't even up yet. But something I've noticed about Miguel is he doesn't like to make gates. He likes to leave a tile between his buildings. And there's going to be holes, man. There's a hole there as well. That's going to be annoying. How do you kill that? That's 1,000 HP of army in your base. Okay, here comes Velez to help out the Max. And he's going to take out the bombard cannons. That's expensive, but Dogal will have the golds. A TC is going to go down for the Max. Miguel has just now reacted. Miguel still has a lot of vills. Still able to make knights because he has gold. Adding TCs and castles in the center. A lot of fortifications there. Dogal getting coinage to send resources to his buddy. Max is going to lose these villagers. Velez is 2 TC boom over here. 41 vills. Is anyone a little confused by the score? The score is a little confusing to me based on the overall populations. I feel like Heresy, with all the gold control and the amount of military and eco, should have a higher score right now. I don't quite get that one. Maybe it's the techs, right? Because you've got 2 people in Imp. Maybe it's also the KD. Miguel did toss away a lot of units, but it was worth it, of course. All right, Max. I mean, he's going to trade a little bit, but this got cleared up. I'm just kind of waiting to see if we're ever going to see Miguel and Imp. It feels like he's going to go 200 pop in Castle Age, because if he ever clicks up, he's not going to have military to support Dogal. But Dogal has so many Arbs. There's like way too many Arbs to deal with. You've got 74 Arbalest against Velez's 35 because Velez can't take gold. Ridiculous game. I think it's easy to say now, but going Imp might have been a mistake for Max. With cheaper Knights, I think it's maybe better to all in with Knights than it is to hope for Imp. It was so close, though. They took a risk. They went for it, guys. And I think Heresy is about to move on to the finals. The military count is double what Suomi have. The eco's stronger as well. They have no time for trade to kick in. Not when there's this much gold in the middle. Dogal is losing villagers, though. Max is not giving up. Max has a castle here. That kind of protects things, but for how long? I think this is too big of a death ball to stop, certainly with Hussars. If you have Cavalier, maybe you have a chance. Oh, God, the Arbs are getting rocked. The Skirms are getting rocked. The Trebs can't be killed. Dogal, of course, will need some help with this. This is really annoying to stop with Arbs. But the difference is Velez has 47 vills, Dogal has 86, and Dogal has the middle. Yeah, so I do not see how Max keeps his castle up. Then he cannot protect his eco. skirmishers, I say it all the time, in team games are just a weak unit. If you're making skirmishers in team games, it's a sign you're in a really bad position, because there's always going to be a gold unit that can counter you, and that would be the knights, of course. Great fight from the Max. A really good fight from the Max. But his population is only going to get lower and lower. And Miguel is just staying in Castle Age. He's just consistently queuing up knights. He's got 38 of them. What a performance from Heresy. The entire series did go back and forth. Right? Win for Heresy, win for Suomi. And then repeat that cycle until game 7. Beautiful stuff. Max's trade is even being attacked. I don't know what's going on here. These people realize they're going to die, so they're talking to the priest first. That makes sense. That's a pretty common thing. Here comes Max with the Hussars. Yeah, they're raiding. They're not giving up. Monastery's going to go down. So now they can't even go to church. So they're just going to make a new town. Okay. And yeah, I'm kind of running out of things to say, because while there are annoying little moves from the Max, there's nothing significant. He has no siege to back it up. He's getting raided at the same time. Velez is at 50 pop, and it's kind of sad to see Suomi come to the realization that they're going to be out here in the semifinals. They don't want to call it because they know the stakes and they've invested so much time and effort, but this is a big win for Heresy, guys. Like, Heresy have been so close over the years in big events. Getting to the finals is such a big thing for them, and man, do they deserve it. Both these teams showed up in every single game. There was never a game where I said, those civs were bad. That gameplay was bad. And I got to give credit to my boy Miguel for stepping up in this game, because Dogal went for that risky micro and lost half of his army, and I really thought it was over for Heresy there. Miguel just stepped it up big time, and now it is allowed Dogal, I mean, great job from him as well, the space and the time to be able to get Arbalest on the field again. Incredible. The Knights are now into Velez's base. But this is... You know what it is? It's 300 IQ from Velez. Have no villagers, so there's no villagers to kill. If you don't have a strong economy, you can't be raided. Easy. That's my strategy. If you don't have villagers to kill, then he can't kill many. If he had 100 vills, then 100 vills would have died right there. So, anyways, it was GG. Velez's eco was too weak. And I think that Suomi have got to hand it to Heresy. Heresy really gave them a fight today and definitely deserved that victory. And isn't this a beautiful sight? Isn't that a beautiful sight? The order of the wins. Oh my God. So like I said, in the future, when these two teams face, we just need to do game 1. And whoever wins Arabia wins. Oh God. And I want to go back here. What did I highlight here? Was 28 minutes when that castle was coming up? Because that was so crazy to me. Like, I saw people calling GG right before it. Oh, it was the Treb. Okay, well, that's the first thing we'll look at again. Okay, I didn't realize the castle fired another volley there. So that... At this point, you look at the numbers. 47 knights for Miguel against 27 for Max. So, I just... You know, maybe they wouldn't have been able to make that many knights because Max wouldn't have had this gold. He's going to this gold now. But I think the difference maker was simply the fact that Miguel had more numbers. And being able to take the villagers from the middle meant that Velez wouldn't be able to make more arbs. It was such a close fight, though. I kind of want to watch it again here, if that's okay with you guys. We do have another semifinal to cast. And then we do have the final, so we're going to be here all day. But my goodness. So the knights are getting wrecked, right? But you've got knights to throw away. So the knights won't like it. But half the knights can die, and you're still going to have a considerable meat shield. And you're still going to be taking the opponent out of the middle. So yeah. In this fight, granted there's a lot of Vills and Trebs in there. It looks very even right now. But Max still hasn't benefited from imp upgrades at all, right? Still not imp upgrades. Still no imp upgrades. Still no imp upgrades. Okay, now here. This is where I thought Cavalier's going to kick in and Armor's going to kick in, so this is going to be better. But Max doesn't have as much on gold. So if you look at Max's Q, he actually doesn't have anything queued because he doesn't have enough on gold. Miguel's got 30 on gold. You need a lot of gold to make stable units. So then it comes down to how many units on the field Max has. Max has 19, and there's 40 for Miguel. 32 here, a few more knights by the wayside, but Miguel played like a beast this game. After Dogal took those shots, after Dogal had been carrying in so many games with his Arbalest, I really felt like it was going to be difficult for Miguel to be able to bring it back against Berber Knights. Miguel played his best game of the series when it mattered in game number 7. I've seen the Cavalier trade-off work there, guys, but I've also seen the Cavalier trade-off not work, and that was an example of it. Great game, great series. Best series of the tournament, definitely. And we will have another semifinal coming up. This is the overall statistics. If you wanted to see the KD, the Arbalest definitely did work there for Dogal. I'm going to look at the food eco and the gold eco. Yeah, I mean, Miguel with tons of food, and then they had so much more gold. They just were able to pressure Max and Velez out of the middle. Cannot say that any team really outperformed massively in that series because it went 4-3. So heartbreaker for Suomi, but that's what competition's all about, man. Coming down to the final moments and seeing who can clutch it out when it's important. So GG and congrats to Heresy. They'll move on to the finals. All right. So that was an incredible set.